And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabrud's for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabrud's, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580 or go to elitepower.com.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
We get you ready for the weekend. Good afternoon, everybody. Kings and Thunder tonight. I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I want to give everyone a little bit of a hint. Next week, when I do my top 5 teams in the National Football League, as I've been saying, the 8-2 Denver Broncos will not be on my list. That game last night was an embarrassment to the National Football League. Seriously. How bad was that game last night? How hard was it to watch that game last night? I mean, the Raiders are flat out pathetic. They're just a bad organization. They're a bad football team, period. There's just no other way to say it. And Pete Carroll has been bitterly disappointing in his first year as head coach of the Raiders. And I don't know what has happened to Geno Smith after watching him this year, especially after in week 1, they went to Foxborough and beat the Patriots, who've turned into one of the best teams in football. Like, go figure, right? Like, how does that happen? And everybody's like, oh, Pete's here. The Raiders are going to change. Everything's going to look better, blah, blah, blah. And here we are. And since that win in week 1 of the NFL, they only have one additional win. So we know they're terrible. They've been terrible for decades, okay? But the Broncos, that is the worst 8-2 team I have ever seen. And I've been watching the NFL for many, 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 many decades, okay? That team is pathetic in terms of what you would think of an 8-2 team. And Cody, who's a diehard Broncos fan, just sent me a message on the text line at 916-779-0929. Broncos defense did good, Grant. Cody, stop it, would you please? You're playing against the Raiders' prevent offense. So I'm not going to judge the Broncos defense on that. Here's what I do know about the Broncos. All right? They have 2 losses. And in my opinion, they've really only had 2 performances this year where I've said, wow, I'm impressed. The loss at Indianapolis impressed me. When I look at the totality of the Colts season, when they really had the game won, and a 15-yard penalty on a missed field goal gave the Colts another chance, and they won it at the horn, 29-28. I was impressed with that loss. A lot more than I was impressed with the win the week before against Tennessee. Then the following week, they lost a close game to the Chargers. They beat Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. And their second most impressive victory this year, or maybe their most impressive victory, was when they went to Philly and won a low-scoring game 21-17. They barely beat a pathetic Jets team in London in an ugly, horrible game, 13-11. They got an absolute gift from the Giants when they were up 26-8 with under 6 minutes left. And the Giants are probably the only team in the NFL that could have lost that game, and they did. Broncos got thoroughly outplayed in that game, thoroughly outplayed by a so-so New York Giants team. Dallas's defense could be the worst in football. That was their best offensive game of the year. They barely beat Houston after C.J. Stroud went out in the first quarter. The Broncos, it was a bad game, all right? And here's the other deal. As they beat the Raiders last night, I don't know what's going on with Bo Nix. Is Bo Nix overrated or what? I mean, look at his passing yards. And I understand that passing is only one element of the National Football League. Let me just read the numbers. I'm not even going to talk about the games. And the numbers you're going to hear are passing yards for the game. 176, 206, 153, 326, 242, 174, 279, 247, 173, and 150. It's the National Football League. You got a quarterback who's only thrown for 300 yards once, and you've got a quarterback who has not even thrown for 200 yards in a game 5 times. Like, you got to be a little concerned there. You got to be a little concerned. And you can make the comment, well, you are what your record says you are. I don't think that's the case with the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're very good. And I've told you that all season. And I've watched every single game they've played. And yeah, their defense is good. I would agree with you. Their defense is good. It's not championship caliber good, but it is good. It is good. They've had a very weak schedule. I mean, let's also call it the way it is. Okay? Tennessee, horrible team, worst in the NFL. Bengals without Burrow, horrible. Jets, horrible. Giants, just above horrible. Dallas, not very good. Houston, not very good. Raiders, horrible. Has there been any team in the NFL that has had an easier schedule than the Denver Broncos? Let's see what happens coming up next week or the following game when they take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Then a bye week. They get another easy game now when you look at Washington. Another layup game in Vegas against the Raiders. Then they have Green Bay at home, tough game. Jacksonville at home, not a bad opponent. At Kansas City, tough game. Chargers game at the end of the week could really prove something. So I'm tired of hearing about the Broncos and how good they are. They're not good. Okay, if you're going to be objective about this, all right, if you're going to be objective and you're going to tell me that the Denver Broncos are a good football team, I would say, you know what? They have a good defense. They have a bad offense, and they have had a weak schedule, a very weak schedule. And they've been getting by. I don't understand how that team's 8-2. I really don't. I don't understand how they are 8-2. And I'm looking at the standings in that division. And obviously, we know Kansas City got off to the slow start, and they're 5-4. With 2 games against Denver to go, I would not rule them out. And, of course, the Chargers 6-3. The biggest concern I have about the Chargers now is their left side of their line. Now with Joe Alt out for the year after replacing Slater. That's a real problem. That's a real problem. So, that's my take on the NFL. I respect your opinion if you disagree. But, if you think the Broncos are a good team just because they're 8-2, you're not watching the same team that I'm watching. That's all I'm going to say. You maybe you're right and I'm wrong. But what impresses you about them? Their defense, right? Their good defense is good. It's not great. It's good. I would grant you that. It's good. But, wow. Should be 10-0, Grant. Colts and Chargers walk-off field goals. Really? Barely beat the first of all, that's just absurd. That's a stupid comment. Come on, Cody. Stop it already. Cody, you're a very knowledgeable sports fan. Stop it with that nonsense. They should be 10-0. You think they should have beat the Giants, Cody? Right? I mean, come on. You think they really should have beat the Jets when you watch that game, Cody? They shouldn't really, if you want to be objective about this, they shouldn't have won the game last night. It was a joke. Come on, should be 10-0. That's like Doug Christie saying that the Kings, really could have been 4-0 when they were 1-3. I mean, that's stupid, Cody. Come on, you're better than that. You're better than that. Could easily be 10-0. Come on now. Stop it. So we are going to talk a lot of NFL on the show today. And we look at the schedule coming up this week, which, again, if last night's game didn't put you into a coma, you'll be able to watch the games coming up on Sunday with the Colts hosting the Falcons. The Giants are in Chicago. Got to love my son who lives in Nashville and works at the ABC TV station there. He sent me a text. Dad, I'm on my way to Chicago to go watch the Giants game. That's good. I just hope they don't get, just completely destroyed. But, I like the fact that he's following in his dad's footsteps. Miami home to Buffalo. Baltimore is on the road at Minnesota. By the way, when I say Atlanta's at Indy, that game is over in Berlin. I should point that out. But technically, the Colts are designated as the home team. So, again, Buffalo at Miami. Baltimore at Minnesota. The Jets are home against the Browns. What do you think the no-shows are going to be at MetLife Stadium for that game? Just wait until you see the highlights if you don't watch that game on Red Zone or live. I don't know who would watch that game live unless you really want to duplicate what you watched last night and you just need a good nap and you would turn on that game. That will do it for you. So you got the Browns at the Jets. And again, I would think there's going to be 30,000 no-shows for that game. 30,000. New England at Tampa. Carolina hosts New Orleans. Jacksonville is in Houston. Seattle will be at home to take on the Cardinals. The big game of the week, and I'm going to talk a lot about this in the late window, Rams, 49ers, and then you have Detroit at Washington, Pittsburgh at the Chargers on Sunday night, and Philadelphia at Green Bay. Cincinnati, Dallas, Tennessee, and Kansas City are off this week. All right. Give me a call. Let's talk about this. 916-779-0929. Said Giants game is the only game that got out of hand. They're giving themselves a chance to win night in, night out. That's very true. But you have to look at the quality of teams they're playing, and they're only winning by a whisker on most of these games. Like, you can't ignore that. Okay? You just can't, ignore that. Now, listen, if they take care of Kansas City, then I might change my tune on this. All right? Right now, I don't see how they're going to beat Kansas City if they're going to score 10 points. I'm sorry. You're not going to beat Kansas City by scoring the limited number of points that they score. I don't care. You think their defense is going to keep the Chiefs to under 2 touchdowns? I don't see that. I don't see that. So 916-779-0929. I want to get to that 49ers-Rams game. And this is a make-or-break game for San Francisco. And I really believe that when you look at their standings. And the one thing that the Niners have going for them, despite their injuries, is they are 3-0 in the division. And they've already won against the Rams. And if they can beat the Rams again, they are in the big-time driver's seat in terms of that head-to-head. Ricky Pearsall, unfortunately, is out. They were hoping he would play. All right? You have Bryce Huff, questionable. I got to believe that Huff is going to be not on the field. And if he is, I've got to believe it's limited because of a hamstring, just based on his position and the use of your hamstrings at that particular position as a defensive end. It doesn't seem like I can count on him. And I'm looking at this game, and I'm looking at the standings, and I'm looking at the game that the 49ers still have at home with Seattle, who I think, and I've been talking about them all year, they are the real deal. They're really, really good. They're really good. And I think they're going to be playing at the end of the season for a chance to win the NFC West. I can't see them not being at least in the playoffs. I look at them and I'm like, wow. I'm looking at the NFC West, and here's the deal with them. They should win against Arizona, and then their 2 big games, or I should say they have 3 really big games left on the schedule, and they have a tough schedule, and I'll tell you why in a moment. They have to go to the Rams after Arizona. They have the Rams on the 18th, short week, Thursday Night Football, which I hate. And then they wrap up the season in San Francisco. They still have to play the Colts, formidable team. And here's the other deal. They have to go to Carolina. And you might go, well, gee, that's not going to be a problem. I'm looking at Carolina, and I don't know who the Carolina Panthers are. I really don't. I don't even know how to, go over that team. I look at Carolina, and I'm looking at their schedule and the wins and the losses. And I'm looking at them with a record of 5-4, and I'm like, okay, they're 5-4. Like, how does that happen when I look at their scores? I mean, they're all over the map, right? You beat Atlanta in week 3, 30-0. And the following week, you lose at New England 42-13, right? You win against Miami, not good. You win against Dallas, not good. You win against the Jets, not good. Then the following week, at home, you lose to Buffalo 40-9, and then you beat Green Bay in Green Bay at Lambeau last week 16-13. So I don't have any idea about the Carolina Panthers. This message from the 209. Grant, I totally agree with you about the Broncos and their soft schedule. Yet you have the Patriots in your top 5, and the win percentage of teams that they have played is close to 400. Yes, that's a great point, and I'll explain that in a moment. And thank you very much for your text. I'll tell you why I had them in my top 5 over the Broncos. It's an excellent question. Is they, to me, are two reasons. They're a better rounded team defensively and offensively than Denver. Would I take Denver's defense over New England's? Yeah, I probably would. Would I take Denver's offense over New England? Not a chance in the world. Not a chance. I would take I agree with you about New England's schedule. I mean, when you play the Jets twice in a year and you play the Dolphins twice in a year, like Denver only plays the Raiders twice. They don't have a softie. The Chargers are good. The Chiefs are good, right? We get that. Okay. And you're right about the Patriots because they lost their opening game to the Raiders. If they played the Raiders right now, they might win by 40 points, right? So they had to, in the other big game, they lost to Pittsburgh in week 3, 21-14. And again, they beat Carolina 42-13. They beat Buffalo. I mean, that's a signature win, is it not? In Buffalo? They won on the road in Buffalo. That's the equivalent to me of Denver going on the road and winning in Philadelphia. Those are similar like situations. New England winning at Buffalo, Denver winning in Philadelphia. So I look at that as, okay, both big-time wins. New Orleans, bad team. Tennessee, bad team. Cleveland, bad team. Atlanta, they won. But here's the difference. Okay, we talk about an offensive league. It's not a defensive league. The New England Patriots scored 42, 23, 25, 31, and 32 and 24 points, respectively, in their wins. And I know in the NFL, it's like, you either win or you lose. I get that. But with the way the rules are called, the way everything goes, when I'm looking at two teams in the NFL, give me a team that has a good defense, which New England has a good defense. It's not as good as Denver's, but their offense is much better. It's much better. And they got a much better quarterback. I'm sorry, you cannot look at Bo Nix and tell me that you would take him over Drake May. You just can't. You just can't do that. So for that reason, I take New England and I put them ahead of Denver. To answer it this way, if New England and Denver were playing head-to-head, I would take New England because I think their defense is good, not great, good, and their offense is much better than Denver's. Much better. Do I think it would be a close game? Yeah, I could see it being a close game. But right now, here's the biggest question I have with Denver. If you're a fan of the Broncos, can you have confidence in Bo Nix? Seriously. Do you really have confidence in Bo Nix? How can you have confidence in him? I don't have confidence in Bo Nix if I'm a Broncos fan. How could you? And then the Raiders fire their special teams coach this morning. Great move. What an awful franchise. Seriously. I mean, same thing, year in, year out. And I'm not saying fire Pete Carroll after a half of the season but they got problems. They really do. They have big-time issues. All right, when we come back, I'm going to talk about the Kings tonight as they take on the Thunder. We can talk about this. I'm talking about the NFL, the NBA, the Kings at 916-779-0929. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Hope you're on your way to a great weekend. 916-779-0929. I want to ask Rhino about this because he lives in Elk Grove. They got a big event a week from today. The NASCAR champion, Elk Grove's very own Kyle Larson, is going to be having a championship parade. That's right, the NASCAR champion, Kyle Larson, of course, the Elk Grove native, a big parade next Friday. Rhino, you live in Elk Grove. A lot of people excited about that?
Very excited. Two-time NASCAR champion now, 2021 as well. The way that he won the championship race in overtime, coming from the 5th spot. Everybody's fired up to have him back in town, and lucky to have him come back to do the parade for Elk Grove as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. That's going to be coming up a week from today down in Elk Grove. We'll give you some more information on that, but that's great. It's so nice when you have an individual from our area that excels in their sport to the level that Kyle Larson does. I mean, listen, he's top shelf. The number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, the NASCAR champion. Good news in conjunction with Sonoma Raceway. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up a week from today. All right, Kings and Lou Dort has already been ruled out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But other than that, they are good to go, and that means Chet Holmgren will play. That means Caruso's playing. They have a guy by the name of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I will just say this. I'm not saying the Kings can't win tonight, as it looks like Domantas Sabonis also will not play in the game.
He is out. He is out.
Yeah, that's what he's officially out, right. The matchup, taking on a team that has a championship pedigree, really do not want to play Oklahoma City, Rhino, at all, if you can help it. And you certainly don't want to play them after a loss. Okay. Like if the Kings fans should really be upset at Portland for winning that game the other night, you know?
Oh yeah. And now you've got Raider fan that's Kings fans. Like, I'm coming off of that. Now I've got OKC in town. What the heck?
Unbelievable.
Here's the key, though, Napes. If the Kings want to have a chance in this game, they've got to get Oklahoma City to take a lot of threes. That will help the Kings. And conversely, the Kings need to, I can't believe I'm going to say this, need to take more threes. They're 30th in the NBA in three-point attempts and 11th in percentage. Yeah. So get them up, Zach LaVine. Get them up, Malik Monk.
Hey, I saw a picture of the court for the game tonight. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks much better than many of the other NBA Cup courts that I've seen.
Yes, it's going to be easy on the eyes.
Yeah. So
Nice
looking forward
cool
to that.
gray.
Don't forget, we're going to be on right after the game. YouTube, Jerry Reynolds, Rhino and Sacktown, myself will be on. If you don't like that, right after the Kings and the Thunder, we'll have the post-game show. Game 2 of this 5-game homestand with Minnesota following Oklahoma City. And Minnesota is at home tonight as they are coming off a loss in New York against the Knicks. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on Anthony Edwards and what's going on with him as he came back in that game against the Knicks, in which they did not play well. They did not play well at all. To give the Knicks credit, they really controlled the second half of that game. But, when you look at Minnesota right now, and I was looking at this today, Edwards, who was listed as questionable yesterday, Ryan, unless you've got a different list than I do, Edwards yesterday was on the injury report as questionable. He's not on the injury report today that I'm looking at currently.
Yeah, they just updated it to available. So you are spot on, partner.
Yeah. So, again, I would assume, unless he has a setback tonight in their game, that he will play on Sunday. And obviously, he's their best player. And although it doesn't really seem to make a difference if the other team doesn't have their best player, they still normally end up playing well and beating Sacramento for some reason. I've never quite understood that, Ryan. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things here in Sacramento. I will say this, and we saw it with Domantas Sabonis. It took a little bit of time coming off the hamstring for Domas to look right. Hopefully it's the same for Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. Something else I want to get to. De'Aaron Fox. He's going to be making his debut coming up in the Spurs game tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers. What do you think the impact of De'Aaron Fox is going to have on a team that is playing very well? I'm talking about San Antonio. They're 5-2. They have an excellent point differential already, although maybe a little bit too early to start talking about that. But they've now lost 2 in a row. Maybe it's a good time for Fox to come back as they started off, with a great start, and now they've lost 2 in a row. Now Fox will come back. Are you expecting the Spurs to get better?
It depends on the De'Aaron Fox that you get. Theoretically, he should give them an extra gear and get them out so you can play half court with Castle controlling. And then even Fox with the separation he creates, good luck keeping track of Wemby. You need to throw it anywhere towards the top of the backboard and the guy can get it in. But if he sits back and he relies on the three-pointer, I think that's going to actually kind of make their offense a little bit more clunky.
Right now, you've got Oklahoma City and the Lakers 1-2 in the West. And the Lakers, to me, are a great story. And I hate saying that because you understand why.
Yeah.
But with all the injuries they've had, like the bigger question is not Fox with the Spurs. The bigger question is what's going to happen when LeBron comes back to the Lakers?
I feel like LeBron's a little bit more of a chameleon than De'Aaron. LeBron can defer to his teammates. He's great at that at times. Sometimes he's been criticized about that to a flaw. But I think that's easier. Do you think De'Aaron's a little bit harder?
That's a fabulous question. The fact that De'Aaron's got his contract all done and he doesn't want, he's a little sensitive. The last thing he wants to do is mess up their mojo.
Yeah.
And I think he's smart enough to play a style that is going to be very conducive to the team as opposed to De'Aaron Fox. I think LeBron going back to the Lakers, especially at his age, and now he's certainly has limitations compared to what we think of with LeBron, although he can still play. That to me is going to be more interesting how he fits in with the Lakers team that's on the move at 7-2. They've won 5 in a row. They're really good. Although, it's interesting for a team that's 7-2. And again, you probably need to wait 20 games to do this. They only have a point differential of +3, which I find interesting.
Playing close games.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, but De'Aaron Fox is coming back tomorrow. By the way, your schedule in the association tonight, you have the Warriors, and we talked about no Steph Curry. They are on the road taking on Denver. You have The Jazz and the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Bucks host the Bulls. The Bulls off to a blistering start at 6-1. Grizzlies home to the Mavs. Boy, you want to talk about two teams that are really struggling right now. And I just wonder how many more games it will be, or how many bad games. I'll tell you this: if the Grizzlies have a bad game tonight against the 2-6 Mavs, their coach may not make it to the locker room. The Heat are hosting the Hornets, the Rockets at the Spurs, the Pistons and the Nets from Brooklyn, and the Hawks take on the Raptors in Atlanta. The Cavs are in Washington, and the Celtics are at the disappointing Magic at 3-5. So keep your eye on that Memphis game tonight. I mean, if you're ever going to come out and show that you're okay and you're going to win a game, it's got to be tonight, Rhino, against the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They need to pump up the pick and roll. The pick and roll numbers right now in Memphis are down. I know Edey is out right now, but even with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja, that was kind of one of those things that was a go-to. I think that would be a lot of help if
All right.
they can get that in.
By the way, Draymond Green is not on the Warriors injury report.
Oh, so his ribs.
Just all of a sudden it got magically better.
Wow.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler also went through shoot around today, according to the sources, although he is technically listed day to day. Aren't we all day to day? Is there anyone walking planet Earth right now that's not day to day?
It's an excellent point. Very good point.
So would the answer to that question be no? There is nobody that's not in that classification. We're all in that classification,
we're all day to day.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Someone said, Grant, regarding the Broncos, which I'm a fan of, if they can get their offense together by the end of the year, don't you think all of those close games will help them down the stretch, if need be? You said it yourself. The early months of the season is about survival. They've done that. Now they get rest. They only have one game in the next 23 days. Yeah, I would totally agree with that if they can get their offense going. But, like, I'm looking at their personnel, and I'm looking at, like, is Bo Nix all of a sudden just going to turn into a different quarterback? I mean, he's not played well. And, yeah, I would agree with that. It is about survival, and they've done that. And I have given them credit for that. I'm giving them credit for winning games that they shouldn't win. Absolutely. But if I'm looking at that, if I really want to compare the Broncos right now to some of the other top teams in the AFC, just me in a head-to-head matchup, I wouldn't take them. I wouldn't pick them. Now, between now and the end of the year, as you phrased it, injuries could factor into that a lot. Okay? We could be talking about a whole different situation because of injuries that we don't know about yet that will occur that may change the landscape of a game. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes, which is not going to happen because they got to bye, if he weren't playing against Denver, then I would change my prediction. If you lose a key member or two on the Denver defense, that changes everything. So injuries, that, factor into it. Also, this text message: if the Niners make the playoffs and lose, when you consider that a successful season with all their injuries? It's a great question. It would depend on, to me, what their record is in terms of making the playoffs and how the playoff loss went. Was it competitive? Did they look bad out on the field? It's a really good question. From a Niners perspective, I don't know if they would call it a successful season, but when you lose Nick Bosa and you lose Fred Warner, I mean, you're losing two of the very best players at their respective positions. Do that with any other team in the National Football League. Take their two top players off the field, not only on their team, but in the National Football League. All right? Remove those two from the field and see what happens. And you can talk about next man up all you want, but there is not a next man up when you're talking about Nick Bosa. There is not a next man up when you're talking about Fred Warner. They're just not. All right, they're in a very elite class. And as Bum Phillips once said about Earl Campbell when they were coach and great running back with the Houston Oilers, the great Earl Campbell, Bum Phillips said, he's not in a class by himself, but it doesn't take long to call the roll. Same with Nick Bosa. He's not in a class by himself, but it didn't take long to call the roll. Same thing with Fred Warner.
It's kind of like the Lions from last year, Grant.
Yes.
Defensively.
Yeah, but the Lions, Hutchinson, losing him had a tremendous impact on that defense. But other than him, and they lost a lot of key players. They don't have a Bosa and a Warner on the Lions defense. They have a Bosa, and they lost him, but they don't have a player of the magnitude of Fred Warner on their defense.
It's a fair point, but in totality, with what they lost in the secondary and the linebacker position, that was
decimated.
Rough. Yeah,
absolutely decimated. Hey, give me a call at 916 or text message. Getting a lot of text messages. Love it. 916-779-0929. If you're going to the game tonight, you think the game's going to be close? I got a bad feeling about this game tonight, which is actually good if you're a Kings fan because I'm normally wrong. I could see Oklahoma City winning this game by double digits tonight. And I think, if you're asking me my opinion, I think they will win by double digits. I don't like taking on an Oklahoma City team that's coming off a loss and now, with the exception of Dort, has everyone ready to go. That makes me a little nervous. And without Sabonis, I got to be realistic about this. You're losing your best player in Sabonis, and you're taking on an Oklahoma City team who's won the championship, who's coming off a loss. Now, you might say, when things look too easy, that's when things normally go the other way. So I'll just leave it at that.
The only thing I would say to that is this team can play faster without Sabonis, and I think that is something that can work against Oklahoma City. In fact, I know they were on the third night of 3 games in 4 nights in the last
and the
meeting.
Night before they had played. Yep.
Yeah, and they had played the night before, but going fast against them is a little bit of their kryptonite. They really want to slow you down and grind you out.
Yeah, maybe, but the reality is they play 29 other teams in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they beat everybody, and they beat everyone playing whatever style they wanted to play. So I don't disagree with you. Every team has a kryptonite. Theirs is a tiny, tiny little pebble of kryptonite.
Yes,
okay,
no doubt.
And so they'll figure it out. I think Chet Holmgren's going to go off tonight, assuming that he doesn't re-injure his back, and that's an issue. The Kings don't have anybody that is going to be able to contend with him, in my opinion. And now without Sabonis, you got to figure that Drew Eubanks is going to start. Is Westbrook going to have another monster game? He's going to need to.
Yeah.
Malik Monk's going to have to score 25. Keon's going to have to be more involved offensively in terms of making shots. DeRozan's going to have his usual game. Schroeder's, let me just summarize it this way. The only way that the Sacramento Kings can win this game, the only way, is they have to play their A game for 48 minutes, not 40 minutes, 48 minutes and A game, and they have to hope they get the same version of Oklahoma City that they saw last week when, in my opinion, they got the C-plus version of Oklahoma City. If they do that, they can win the game.
And that was the version of Oklahoma City that only shot 10 free throws for the entire game. That's usually a quarter for SGA normally.
That's correct. And didn't have Chet Holmgren on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll come back. We'll talk more about this. 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take our first look at the roadways for this Friday afternoon. A reminder that we have that 55-hour weekend ramp closure scheduled for this weekend. So if you do plan going out, give yourself some extra time to work your way through those ramp closures. Starting to see some rush hour delays along the Cap City Freeway, El Camino Avenue down to about the US 50 interchange. Starting to get real sluggish through there. Same thing with I-5 northbound and southbound in the same area. With twice-an-hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery, embrace the company of family and friends, and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Kings and Thunder tonight. We'll have the post game over on YouTube right after the game. If you don't like that, is the channel 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And we get to the phone lines now. And Mike in Galt. Mike, good afternoon.
Grant, good afternoon. I have a few questions here. 49ers, years back, the New York Giants, they ran a NASCAR package on defense. They won a championship. Now, I know that the 49ers are trying to do something similar without their key players on defense. Do you think a team could go far or maybe win a championship in the NFL with having a good offense and a weak defense?
No, I do not. I don't think you can win a championship with a weak defense. And as far as the NASCAR package that you're referring to, the Giants had multiple players that were all were starting caliber players and would start on any team in the NFL, both the guys that started and the backups. So they were able to do that, and they did it very efficiently, and that's probably the main reason why they beat the New England Patriots in the first of the 2 Super Bowls was because of the NASCAR package and the constant pressure that they put on Brady. And that was the big difference in the game. And they held New England to just 14 points. But so, no, but a weak defense, no, you can't win in the NFL, in my opinion, with a weak defense.
Okay. On the flip side of that, you had the Baltimore Ravens when they had one of the best defensive teams ever, but their offense wasn't as good. What do you think about the Niners in that situation?
Yes, that was a completely different era of football, early 2000s. In my opinion, that's the second greatest defense of all time. The first was the 85 Bears and Buddy Ryan and the famed 46 defense. And I covered that team during that era in Chicago. And to this day, in all my years of watching the NFL, I've never seen a defense as dominating as that. The reason why you really have a difficult time, going back to the analogy you made with the Ravens and Trent Dilfer being the quarterback of the Ravens offense, is the game is so different now and the rules are so different now that it's very difficult to apply the way the game is played in 2025 and go back to look at it the way it was in 2000, in the early 2000s. It's very difficult to compare because, again, the rules of the game are more offensive oriented that enable for better offensive football. And, like, just think about the tackling. Can you imagine Ray Lewis playing in this era of the NFL with the tackling rules? I mean, we can go on. And the way the game was played, I mean, it's really difficult to compare.
Okay, so this Sunday, it's a big game for the 49ers. Like, it's the battle of NorCal versus SoCal. Yeah. It's going to take a lot of grit to win that game because Stafford is looking good. You might have the 49ers play tough all year, but fall short this year to the Rams. And the Seattle Seahawks, by the way, are playing amazing, both sides of the ball.
I talk about them every week. I think I talk about the Seahawks every week.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to say something about San Francisco. If they don't win this week, I think their season's done in terms of I could see this thing really unraveling quickly if they lose to the Rams, because then they're going to be 2 behind the Rams in the loss column, and Seattle's not going away. It's going to make the rest of the year really, really difficult. And here's the other aspect. They're going to have more injuries. And so I want to use another team as an example about a weak defense. Last year, the Detroit Lions, they were the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they had a very explosive offense with 2 dynamic running backs, dynamic wide receivers, a quarterback that's won an NFC championship and been in a Super Bowl. But they were losing and lost to Washington, and they gave up a whole bunch of points in the playoff game after sitting out a week as the number 1 seed because they had their defense decimated by injuries. And you would characterize the defense that they put on the field last January in the playoffs against Washington as a weak defense. So that's another example. You cannot win in January or February with a weak defense. You can't do it. And another great example of that is the Super Bowl that Tom Brady won with Tampa Bay. They held the Kansas City Chiefs without a touchdown. Okay. And the reason for that was the Chiefs were without 2 starting tackles. They didn't have their starting right tackle. They didn't have their starting left tackle, and they didn't score a touchdown the entire game. So you have to have a really good defense in the NFL. You just do. You have to.
You got it. I'll take this question off the air. Super Bowl this year is at Levi's. Can you imagine, for the 49er fans, if the Rams or Seattle wins the champion in Levi's? What do you think about that? I'll take it off the air.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Yesterday's show was.
Go
I
ahead.
want to let you know yesterday's show was so amazing. I shared it with my wife. We sent the whole social media part to my daughter. She's 22, and it was just a great show. Good job.
Well, let me ask you a question. What did you think made it such a great show? What did you really like about it?
Well, first off, I just like how everybody's on their phone, and my daughter, I think she has like a addiction to her phone. Like if she could sew it into her arm, she would. And I'm like, yo, there's a whole life out there besides your phone. And just the mental health aspect.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, she's in Catalina Island right now, and I'm working. So she's living her best life with her
Yeah,
phone.
you know what? You got the short end of that stick, my friend. You got the short end of that stick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
But, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great show. My wife really loved it. Thanks for taking my call, Grant. Great show.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, the best family vacation I ever went on was with my wife and her son and my 2 boys, probably, I'm guessing now, 15 years ago. So we're talking about high school, junior high school. I can't remember the specific year. And this was before the technology enabled you to be able to use your cell phone when you were out basically in international water. So as soon as you left the coastline of Miami, your phones didn't work. And we had the best conversations, the best dinners, the best week as a family that we had at any other time while they had phones. Now you could say, well, you can make a rule, and you're the parent. You can tell your kids you can't have your phone at dinner. But here's the problem with that: they feel like they're being punished. They understand that they have a phone. They understand that their phone works. But when you're out on a cruise ship, or back then, now it doesn't work because you have the technology. Like it wasn't like they're being slapped on the hand. They couldn't use their phone. I wouldn't care if they had their phone on with them at the table, which they didn't. It wouldn't matter because there's no service. And it was just a very, and that's why we chose to do it. We're like, let's just do this. And we had a great time. It's probably as good as any vacation that we've had as a family. So, yeah, absolutely. I get the weirdest text messages. If you usually prefer black olives on your pizza in another country and they put green olives on your pizza, would I be offended? Had to break up with my girlfriend over it. Best move I ever made. So you broke up with your girlfriend because of green olives compared to black olives? Doesn't sound like a really good relationship going on right there. But I get the weirdest messages. I really do. But, that we can go off the rails here. I'm happy of doing that. I've never thought about green olives, black olives on a pizza. I love black olives, so that wouldn't bother me. Green olives I like too, but I don't know if I've ever had. Rhino, have you ever had pizza with green olives on it?
No, but Grant,
I haven't either.
Okay, so you would be surprised. There's all these little tests out there in dating now. I mean, you and I have been out of the dating game for a minute. But, have you ever had one of those little oranges called cuties or the mandarins?
Yes.
If the girlfriend asks for a cutie and you don't peel it for her, it's a sign. They're testing you on little things like that. So, I mean, breaking up over olives, that's a little bit out of the lane, but it's a different world out there.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that. So now I have to be on my toes if I hear that for a cutie. I have to actually peel it as well. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other food quirks? I mean, now that we're getting towards the end of the first hour of the show, because I don't want to go into a food show for the next 2 hours. But here's the thing. Can I do a mini rant? I've never understood why people care about the way I eat my steak or what I like on my pizza or how I like to have my hot dog. I don't understand why that matters to you. Is there a universal rule that an individual can only put this ingredient on their hot dog? Is there a universal rule that says that I have to have my steak medium, which is the way I like my steak, or you have to have your steak well done? I went out to dinner the other night with a guy. We were at a very nice steakhouse, and he ordered his steak well done. And the waiter said, the chef really doesn't prefer to cook the steaks well done. Would you be okay with medium well? And he goes, no, I'm eating it. Tell the chef I want it well done. And I thought the same thing. I understand the chef's got a reputation, but if the customer wants the food cooked a certain way, that's your job. And it was a really nice steakhouse. And I have friends that would give him a hard time if they were at dinner with us. They would have said, what, you like your steak well done? Why do you have to quiz somebody on how they like their food? You're not eating it. They're eating it. Let them have it however they want. I never sit there and criticize or make fun of an individual because of how they eat their food. Who cares? I'm not eating it. Rhino, I've never understood that. What difference does it make how you like your food compared to the way I like my food? I don't care the way you eat your food. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not eating it.
I'm with you 99% of the time, but there is a steak exemption there. If you're at a nice steakhouse and you're paying for dinner and you're getting the tomahawk well done.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different. That's sharing.
Different?
If you're not sharing it, then who cares? But yeah, I wouldn't. There's no way I would spend that kind of money, even if I'm not paying for it or paying for it, to get a tomahawk and have the individual I'm with saying they want it well done, I would say, you go in, you order what you want. I'm going to order something else. That's all. I would never do that.
So the $100 filet, well done, does not bother you?
If I'm not eating it, I don't care. Who cares? Why would it bother me? I'm not eating it. Like, I don't care.
Well, you know why chefs do that, right? Because it leaves a very narrow space for a review.
Maybe. You know, when I go to Thailand, I see people eating, food with, stuff jumping out of their bowls and stuff. And no, I'm serious. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But, they eat, like bugs and stuff that they sell on the street, like crickets that are fried and grasshoppers and,
Fox Sports traffic as we get another look at the roadways. Just a reminder that the 5 hours closure that's happening on Highway 99 north at the I-80 interchange. So give yourself some extra time and plan accordingly to get around that mess. We are still working an earlier problem on Howe Avenue south at Marconi Avenue, just a little bit south of the Cap City Freeway. Just give yourself a couple of extra minutes to work your way through there. Normal rush hour delays starting to form. With Choice and Hour Traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabroods for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabroods, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
I do have a confession to make. I kind of fibbed in the last segment. I actually do make fun of people and what they eat. Vladi Divac is the simplest, most basic person I've ever been with when it comes to going out to eat. And we would very often particularly go to lunch, and Vladi loves his cheeseburgers. And so we'd be at a restaurant, and Vladi would order the cheeseburger, and he would say to the waiter or waitress, I just want the meat, the cheese, and the bun. And then the waiter would follow up with a question, just the meat, cheese, and the bun. And some, Vladi can have a thick accent, and some people have difficult. And so I would look at the waiter or waitress. I would say, hey, just make believe that you're making this burger for a 5-year-old kid. Okay? Just put that in, visualize. So we wait 10 minutes later, the food comes out, and there's some garnishes on the side. There might be like a little lettuce, tomato off to the side, right? Or maybe there's a little tiny, like cut up lettuce, carrots, whatever, or a pickle. And Vladi would go, no. Can you get this off my plate? And I would go, Vladi, why don't you just take it off? And no. And he would hand the plate back to the person, and they would have to go back to the kitchen, okay, take the tomato and lettuce off the side. It's not on the burger. It's on the side of the plate, or like a little tiny, like not coleslaw, but you get, some garnishes, pickles. He would literally hand the plate to the waiter and go, no, that has to be off my plate. How about that for you, Rhino?
Grant, didn't Vlade own a restaurant in Old
Yes, he
Sac?
did. He ordered Tunel 21 in Old Sacramento.
So how did he taste his chef's menu?
I don't think he did. I think Anna, his wife, did all of that.
Okay.
Vladi loves meat, so when we were in both Serbia and Montenegro, he eats a lot of Serbian dishes, which quite frankly I'm not educated enough on to tell you what it was, but he eats a lot of Serbian dishes, but his diet is rich in meat, but very basic eater, very, very basic.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
People, I know, my son, for instance, here's a weird one. If he has a plate with a burger, fries, and I don't know, a milkshake, he's going to finish all of one thing first before he moves on to the next.
Everybody's different. Everybody's got their quirks. Go, Rhino, if you start in your life traveling internationally and you go to different cultures and you see like what different cultures have in terms of their favorite foods, and like if you go to Asia, okay, like I remember when we were in Shanghai and Beijing, and we went to this park, and they were selling they look like fried scorpions on a stick. No, I'm not kidding you.
No, I know.
Like all kinds of and literally just on a stick. And if you go to like Thailand, they have all types of bugs that are deep fried, crickets, and things of that nature. Caterpillars. I'm not exaggerating. Just in big chunks, and I'm talking about in bulk. Stacked up on each other, and there are literally just like they call them. I don't know what they call them. It's like a food cart that they drive around on a bike. Like they're on a regular bicycle, and it's like attached to a cart, and in that cart is nothing but bugs. Right? I'm not exaggerating. And the people in Thailand love that stuff. I'm never trying it. I never have tried it, and I won't try it.
Well, they're normally pretty healthy looking. Don't they have like the longest or one of the longer lifespans? The Thai people?
I don't even know. I don't know. I know the Japanese do. I don't know about the Thai people.
Okay. Well, it's a common source of protein. In fact, some of the major league ballparks, I believe it was the Diamondbacks, it was one of their best sellers. It was chili lime crickets.
Chili lime crickets. Interesting.
Yeah.
When you go to a sporting event, right, regardless of where it is, does your experience, does your food experience at the game enter your mind at all?
It depends who I'm with, because there's certain people, like if I was to take my wife to a game, she doesn't go there necessarily for the game. She's going for the atmosphere, finding a cool place to eat. So that becomes part of that experience. But if it's me and my dad, brother, whatever, no, it's whatever it is. Grab a hot dog, grab some popcorn, grab some chicken tenders, and let's go. I mean, the snack, not snack cart, but the little restaurant or food bar that was at the top of Arco was perfect. It had everything you needed. It had King's dogs, popcorn, soda, a little bit of candy. That's all I need, Napes. In fact,
Real nutritious.
it's a game.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing's
I'm
going to be
kidding.
nutritious at a game. Come on. There's nothing nutritious besides the water. How about you?
I don't care. I've never once gone to a game and thought about the food options or lack thereof. It's never really been an issue to me. And I walk around every concourse in every NBA arena because I am curious to see what they have and what looks popular, because it's just, I like, again, being able to talk about these things in this type of a forum. So I really do spend a lot of time when I'm in an arena to walk around the concourse and see what they have, because different parts of the country, there are different fads. Like barbecue is obviously huge in the South, and a lot of barbecue is at sporting events, right? Compared to on the West Coast. I'm not saying that we don't eat barbecue out here, but it's different in terms of the availability at a game. So like just different parts of the country, you have different food groups, even at games, which I find interesting. So that's my thought. All right. If you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. This from the 650. My brother has worked in Hollywood for 30 years. He told me that Ben Stiller won't eat off a plate that anyone else has ever eaten off. Wow. Now, how about that? Ever. You got to have a new plate. Hey, another story I wanted to get to today. If you were wondering, it is official. Mark Sanchez has been fired by Fox Sports. You remember what happened, right? October 4th. Just a horrible incident. He was in town getting ready to announce the Colts and the Raiders game, and he confronted a truck driver. He allegedly attacked him and injured him, put the 68-year-old man in the hospital, 68 or 69, I can't remember. And he's awaiting trial, but he has been replaced full-time. He is out. A Fox spokesman said today, quote, "We can confirm that Mark Sanchez is no longer with the network. There will be no further comment at this time." We'll see what happens at the trial. He is facing multiple charges, including felony charge. And again, his trial is supposed to start, I think I read in early December, but there's a feeling that that could be pushed back. He's got a felony count of battery involving serious bodily injury. He has 3 misdemeanor charges, including public intoxication. I said this back in October. There's got to be more to the story than meets the eye. Like none of it makes sense to me. None of it. None of it. And I'm really waiting for the toxicology reports to be public. It doesn't add up to me that a guy that is getting ready to announce a game on network, all right, an NFL game on the network, is hanging out at that time, the night before the game, and confronting an elderly or a man that's much older than you are, allegedly assaulting him, creating bodily harm over what the story was, a parking space. Like, does that make sense to anybody? And I know we hear all kinds of stories that you just raise your eyebrows. When this story came out, I raised my eyebrows. It just doesn't make sense. From the 530, Grant, I heard Eric Spoelstra's house burned down. Have you been following the story? Dorian, I've only been following a little bit, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way. And I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way. I think it's awful when anyone's house burns down. I think it's awful, to all the families that have been afflicted and lost lives and have had loved ones lose lives and lose everything in the fires that seemingly we have every year right here in California. Okay? And I'm bothered by the fact that because he's Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the NBA, and he has a horrible incident to his property, that it becomes like all over the news. Because, if his next door neighbor's house had burned down, nobody would give a damn. Okay? Nobody would care. You might not even see it on the news. And again, I hope that doesn't sound crass, because I'm not saying I'm happy that, Mike Breen, who's a very good friend of mine, was on a family vacation with his wife. I want to say they were in Hawaii, and their house literally burned down to the ground. And it was all over the news, and I sent Mike a text telling him how sorry I was to hear that and blah, blah, blah. But, and I understand how our society is, that when you're a public figure or a celebrity, anything that happens in your life is going to be news. And I understand that it should be news. Like, I get the fact that that's news, and I understand why it's in the news, and I understand why Miami TV stations are covering it and newspapers. I understand all of that. Okay? I get that. But I don't then make a big deal out of it. I'm like, that's unfortunate. That really is sad. It's unfortunate. But, people have bad things happen to them every day, and it's not like I don't want to be compassionate about them either. So I hope that makes sense. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And I think the biggest benefit of being a public figure, if something bad happens to you like this, is that's when I think really social media can pick up a lot of people. And I think that when you're dealing with a health issue, and if you are somebody that is a public figure, or even if you're not, and it ends up, like becoming hot on social media, and then all of a sudden you have people that are praying for you and sending you nice messages on social media. Sometimes you don't even know these people. That can be very uplifting, and I think it's very powerful, and I think that's great. I think it's awesome. But I don't know. I like you asking me that question, I don't have a problem with that. But I want to ask you, Dorian, because you're such a great contributor to the show. Why did you ask me that? I'm serious. Why did you ask me that? That's my question.
Grant, maybe the nuance is here. Spoelstra has not taken any leave from work, and
why would you take leave from work?
Grant, if my house burnt down, I would probably be busy trying to figure out where we're going to go in the interim, working with insurance, and
yeah, but you can still go to work and coach the team. So what? You do all of that. You live in a hotel, and you have a wife, you have an agent, you have lawyers, and you could still go to work. You're the head coach of the Miami Heat. Yeah, it's tragic that his house burned down, but why would he not be able to go to work?
Well, because the definition of work for an NBA coach is not 8 to 5, right? The travel that you have to go through, most coaches are spending a ton of time in the facility outside of when there's games.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Is he going to go to the house and pick up the rubble? I mean, what would he do? What could he possibly do?
He's going to pick up the rubble, Grant, but I'm just saying that's kind of a big event that you've got to deal with.
It is a big deal, but it wouldn't prevent me from going to work. I can promise you that. Okay, it wouldn't prevent me from going to do my job. It wouldn't prevent me from announcing a game. It wouldn't prevent me from going on an airplane to announce a Kings game. I mean, it just wouldn't. We're all different, right? But I mean, here's what I would miss work for, okay? I would miss work for the birth of my child. And maybe, and I say maybe, a death in my family, maybe. And the reason why I'm saying maybe is my dad passed away on November 2nd, 2007. And I was in San Antonio, and I had gone to a movie, and I was walking back to the hotel at about 4 o'clock. The game starts at 7, and I'm going to be taking the early bus that leaves I want to say at 4:30 or 5. I can't. Well, it wouldn't have been 4:30. It would have been 5. And so I'm walking back to the hotel in downtown San Antonio, and I get a call from my brother that my dad had died. And I've got to do a game in 3 hours. And at that moment, I wasn't really thinking about the game. But my dad had always told me, hey, if anything ever happens to me, you go to work, go do your job. And so just out of respect for my dad and his wishes, I did the game that night, and I did the game the following night. The game that night in San Antonio was the hardest telecast that I've ever had to do. But, you know, Brett Favre's dad died, and what happened? He went on Monday Night Football, the day that his dad died, against the Raiders on, you know, again, Monday night, and had one of the greatest games of his career. We're all different, and we all react to situations differently because, you know, again, we're not the same people. And in my situation, okay, that was something my dad wanted. If I had a death in my family, quite frankly, no, I don't think I'd be going to work. I don't think I would be doing this show. I don't think I would be capable of doing the show. I don't think I would be in a frame of mind to even think about going on the air. So we're all different. But in Eric Spoelstra's case, yeah, it's awful. You know, he had a house fire. You know, and I haven't even done a lot of research on it. But like, why can't he coach the team? Like, to me, I would actually. Well, I wouldn't criticize him publicly, but privately I would. I was like, what, the guy can't coach the team because his house burned down? If nobody got injured and everybody's safe, so yeah, go to work. Like, I don't understand why he wouldn't be able to go to work.
I guess what I'm trying to say is Eric Spoelstra has more, in this case, you are right, he has more resources than the regular person. He makes more money than the regular person. You named the agents, lawyers, etc.
There's also a responsibility too that in your life.
Yes, you do have a responsibility. First and foremost, you would agree to your family.
Yes, number one. Yes,
Okay.
your family's number one. That's correct.
And so I guess if you don't have that settled, like, and I don't want to, I want to tread lightly when I say this, when your father passed away, and I can't imagine going on the air and doing a game in that state. But with you in San Antonio, what else would you have been doing?
It wasn't a matter of what I would have been doing. It's the frame of mind that you're in. It's not a matter of what I would have been doing. It's regardless of what your job is, in order to do your job well, you have to be in a certain frame of mind. And especially in this job, or flying an airplane, or driving a bus, or driving a car, or, you know, again, I'm talking about, like, if I'm not in the right frame of mind, if I'm mentally not able to do a show because of being so sad and so emotionally distraught, I wouldn't be able to broadcast the game. Now, I was sad, but like for 2.5 hours or 3 hours, I'll tell you, the only thing I didn't do that night, I didn't do the pregame show and the opening segment we did back with the folks in the studio, because I said to the director of broadcasting back then, I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I go, just let me concentrate on just doing the game, and I'll get through it, and I'll be able to do it. He goes, we can simulcast if you want. We can have G-Man do the game. I said, nope, I'm doing the game, but just have Jerry do it. Just have him do that segment with the studio. I don't want to do that segment, but I'll do the game. So, like, we're all different, all right? Like, there are, but the birth of my child, I would never miss that. Like, I would take off work. I wouldn't feel right doing that. I mean, for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, I mean, it's, to me, the most special moment of your life, and you need to be there to support your wife, and you want to be there to support your wife, and you want to experience that. Like, I wouldn't like miss that.
Yeah.
And do a game. Like, I would never do that. So we're all different. But in Eric Spoelstra's case, as bad as that is, and again, I really mean that, is that he really can't do anything. And I didn't know this, okay? The only reason why I asked Grant is because of the speculation of a possible involvement with his ex-wife. But more importantly, I'm sure he lost great memories inside the house, and I'm sure that can be emotionally hurtful. J.J. Redick was visibly distraught after his house burnt down. Yes, and I remember J.J. Redick, and I remember that situation, and I guarantee you he lost a lot of memories. Mike Breen, I talked to privately about what he lost at his house, and you lose everything. When you think about what you have in your house, all right, and you just, first of all, just think about, Ryan, one thing. Just think about photos. Think about family photos, right, that you probably can't get anywhere else. That alone, to lose family photos of maybe your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother, your family photos, kids growing up, correct?
No doubt. Yeah.
I mean, that's gone forever. Maybe in this day and age, you might still have it on your phone if it, you understand. But by and large, those memories are gone forever, and that is tragic. Tragic. I mean, among other things.
No doubt. Photos that were passed along to you from the generation before you, and you want to pass those along. Same thing with certain belongings. I guess the point that I was trying to make in the argument that he's working through it, and it ties back to the family thing, is I would have a hard time going to work if my family was not settled. Like, if things are still chaotic and we don't have a place to go, it would be really hard to check in and put the workplace before them.
There are certain jobs where you have a very fine line there. And I always felt that my job was in that category of being a TV announcer for an NBA team.
Yeah.
And I was very proud of the fact that I only missed one game in 32 years on the air. One game.
Yep.
Okay. One game. And the game I missed, believe it or not, was because they closed Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, and I flew the day of the game, and I couldn't get there. And it was very interesting because the Kings had a group of their premium members going to the game too, and they couldn't get there. And so Gary Gerald did a simulcast in that game, and I ended up finally getting to Phoenix at about halftime, but I just went to the hotel. And that was the only game in 32 years that I missed. I took great pride in that, and I think most of the people in my profession take amazing pride not to miss games. Again, I would have missed a game for the birth of my child. Wouldn't even think twice about that. There are very few things that I would have missed a game for. And I missed a lot of great family events. I missed a lot of great games that my boys played in. I missed my wife's birthday almost every single year because we were on the road almost every single year for her birthday. There are a lot of things that I missed. And again, birthdays aren't really a good example, but I missed a lot of things. And listen, I don't care whether you're on TV, you're on radio, you're the head coach of the Miami Heat or what have you. You're still a person, and you still have good things in your life and bad things in your life. And you still have, good things that happen to you, and you have bad things that happen to you.
Yep.
And so in this case, I would tell you right now, had my house burned down while I was the announcer for the Kings and doing games on TV, I wouldn't have missed a game. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been concerned about everything, and there were a lot of work to be done, but that's just me. I wouldn't have missed a game. But we're all different. We're all different.
We're all different, and I would imagine a lot of that is the respect that you have for being part of that fraternity of 30. There's only 30 of those jobs. There's only a short list of people that have ever had them.
Yeah, you don't want to be the Wally Pipp, right? You don't want to be that Wally Pipp and have Lou Gehrig replace you. The other aspect is how I was raised, and we'll get to the break on that. But, I was raised, you go to work. You have a job, you're getting paid, you go to work. So I've always believed in that. We'll come back, 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. We are dealing with some heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire area. Accident US 50 westbound at Stockton Boulevard. Accident is off to the shoulder, but it is causing a slowdown through that area. So give yourself that extra time. Howe Avenue south of Marconi Avenue. That earlier accident still blocking the left lane just a little bit south of the Cap City Freeway. So give yourself a couple of extra minutes. With Twice an Hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabroods for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabroods, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
All right, I've got my rant all ready to go at 5 o'clock, Rhino. So I'm coming out strong at 5 o'clock in this one. All right, coming out strong at 5 o'clock.
Better bring it.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it. We're going to get you to the weekend with a rant that drives me freaking crazy, and it's going to be happening again this weekend, and it absolutely infuriates me because it's happened to me a couple of times. So that's coming up at 5 o'clock. Drives me crazy. 916-779-0929. 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. All right, back to the game tonight. Let's talk about this matchup. And the first quarter has got to get better for Sacramento, Ryan. Their first quarters have been just awful, and it doesn't seem to get better. That's going to have to change tonight. You cannot allow this team who's coming off a loss, and you know they're going to be ticked off, and they've got Chet Holmgren on the floor, and we know about SGA. That you need to be better in the first quarter.
They've been predictable in the first quarter. You can almost script out what it's going to look like when that first timeout gets called. The one thing that I will say is if you come out predictable still, you can't turn the ball over, Grant, because the Thunder are notorious for making you pay for your mistakes.
Yeah, they will. They'll take that turnover and they'll turn it into 2 or 3 points. And this is going to be a team that fatigue is not going to be an issue. All right. It's not like you're taking on this team that's playing 3 and 4. And it's just great team. It's the same thing when the Kings were really good, Rhino, back in the early 2000s. Like in the early 2000s, you really rarely lost 2 games in a row. Like it just, when you lost the game with the Kings, the year that they won 60 plus, like the focal point changed. Like the just everything changed. Like it was a thing of pride for them. So I'm really hoping that they get off to a good start tonight. Don't forget the post-game show. That's going to be coming on right after the game. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan, and Sacktown, and yours truly. Again, that is coming on, I'm thinking roughly 9:30. Can be 9:20. Sometimes the games go a little bit short. So anytime between like 9:15 and 9:30 Pacific time. We'll be on YouTube if you don't like that, and the Kings and the Thunder. Then you have Minnesota coming in, followed by Denver, and then the Atlanta Hawks. That is your homestand, 4 games left. That's why the game the other night on Wednesday was so important, so critical that you won that game against the Warriors, especially when you looked at who wasn't playing. And I'm well aware that the Kings had some guys that were out too. So yeah, you absolutely needed to win that game, and they did. I don't think you win tonight. I think you could win Minnesota. I don't think you win Denver. And then you have the game against Atlanta, which is the 3rd game in 4 nights. So keep that in mind when you get to the back end of the schedule. All right, again, 916-779-0929. Why don't we say hello to Bill in Sacramento? Bill, welcome to the show.
Well, hey, Grant, thanks for taking my call. Long-time listener, couldn't believe what happened to you. I did wanted to mention to you that my son, I've talked to him. He listened to you when we were going to baseball games and stuff when he was younger, but he loves your show now. He listens to it religiously. But what I'm calling about is one of your rants probably 20 years ago, waiting at a stoplight for the pedestrian to get across the road. It took him, 5 seconds, but you have to sit there and wait for another 25 seconds as he keeps going. I was wondering if you remember that rant.
Yeah, my rant was this, okay? Why is it that an individual needs to have a walk, don't walk sign to walk across a street, particularly in a rural neighborhood? I can understand it if you're in New York City or Chicago or a big city. At least I understand that. But like if you were in a neighborhood where there's no cars on the road, like where I lived for years in Serrano, in El Dorado Hills, and you're crossing a street and there's like, you really need to have a walk, don't walk sign. I've got a little thing for you. Instead of hitting the damn button, okay, that is going to enable you to walk across the street, how about looking to your left and looking to your right, and when you don't see any vehicles, you cross the street. Instead, you hit that damn button, okay, and, they do it as if a snail is walking across the road, and you sit there and you got to fill your car up with gas after the light turns green because you've been waiting so long that you now have a tank on empty. That stuff drives me crazy. Like, you really need to hit the button to walk across the street? Like, seriously, do you remember what life used to be where you could just walk across the street without having to be told by a green flashing light that was okay to walk? Look to the left, look to the right, and cross the street. Now, me, being a New Yorker and growing up in a environment where walk and don't walk signs are actually the biggest waste of money in the world, because nobody in New York pays attention to the signs. If there are no cars coming or they can run across the street without getting smashed like a bug on a windshield, they go. All right, nobody sits there and waits for the corner. Matter of fact, I used to say this in Seattle. When I used to go up with the Kings to Seattle, I couldn't understand the people in that city that would sit on the corner. When I mean sit, stand on a corner and waiting for the walk, don't walk sign to change when there was no cars coming. And I'd walk across the street and I'd continue on my way, and, I'd have people giving me looks. And I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because it's common freaking sense. I'm not going to wait 2 minutes for the damn light to go walk when there's no cars coming. So yeah, that stuff drives me crazy.
I love it. Grant, you made my day. Hey, I do have to mention, I did call one time years ago when Manute Bol came to town, and I did get on with Jerry Reynolds, and I couldn't believe, I called him a specimen, and Reynolds loved that term.
Wait, well, you called him a what?
Well, he was just a specimen.
Yeah, he was a specimen. He was. Yeah. There was the Manute Bol was unbelievable, absolutely incredible.
Oh,
yes,
exactly. Even compared to the other basketball
players. No question about it.
Yeah, no. Hey, Grant, just wanted to call and tell you I'm just thankful you're back on the airwaves, and my son and I are total fans.
I appreciate your support, Bill, and tell your son I appreciate him as well. Thank you very much.
You got it. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. And I'll have a really good rant I think that you're going to enjoy coming up at 5 o'clock. And then Rhino and yours truly will have our NFL picks in the third segment of our number 3. And we'll announce the winner of the $100 gift card from Bennett's Restaurants, Sacramento, Roseville, the West Side Grill in Rockland. You'll have a chance to get a $100 gift card from Bennett's as well. If your picks against the number, we use the DraftKings NFL odds, so you have to use DraftKings. You can't use another sports book. And the reason for that is very simple, is the lines are not uniform, and we all have to be playing with the same numbers. So go to DraftKings, use the NFL odds, and you might win a chance. All right? You might have a chance for a gift card from Bennett's. All right, 916-779-0929. When we come back, I got a good rant for you. I think you're going to like this rant today. And that is something that's going to be about 20 minutes from now, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast.
But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Yeah, the simple things in life. Crossing a street, merging onto a highway. Like, really? I got to go from a long ramp going 60 miles an hour when nobody's on it, and now you want me to stop because the light on the ramp trying to lead onto the freeway wants me to come to a complete stop for 2 full seconds, and then I got to wait for that light to turn green so I can speed up again to my 60 miles an hour or 65 to merge onto the highway. I was already going 60 miles an hour. I was already getting ready to merge onto the highway, and now I've got to stop? Why?
Hey, don't even start with that one. Because if you're going to come to my neck of the woods, it will tell you that you're going to have to stop. The light's flashing, and then you come all the way up because you can't see the light. You got to make a little turn, and the light's green. Just go.
Yeah. Well, I've done many rants on the metered ramps, and I've always said this. I think it's the most ridiculous, absurd thing that I've ever experienced driving a motor vehicle. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So, especially on the ramps where you're the only car.
Oh,
you know, like you're merging onto a freeway.
Yep.
On a long ramp. Why? Like, what's the purpose of that? So it's just. I don't get it.
And the one time that you drive through it, there's going to be one of those cops just waiting there for you.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I would just tell people, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you should drive through it. It would be irresponsible for me to do so. If I go through the light and I get stopped, then I'll pay the consequences and the fine and whatever else. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. No Domantas Sabonis, no Lou Dort for OKC, but Chet Holmgren is going to be on the floor. The Thunder are coming off a loss in Portland. They actually had, I think, a 23-point lead in that game, even without so many key players on the floor, which just goes to show you how good they are. Like, they are so good. They really are. All right, NBA games that are currently going on. And in the East, at the end of one, Orlando, who really needs to get their act together, they lead Boston a big first quarter, 38-25. Cleveland is in Washington, and that is 39-26. I guess all the games tonight are my favorite event of the year, and that is the NBA Cup, which I live for. And I'm just so excited to be able to talk about these NBA Cup games. Oh, it just, you know what? It really makes my whole weekend. I'm so excited. I don't even know if I'll be watching college football tomorrow. And I may just reflect on the great experience I had with the NBA Cup here on this Friday evening. Love it.
I know you're so excited. I was actually going to get a really good shot, a long shot with the court in the background. So you can do your post-game show with that in the background now.
I would love that. But I would say, in all fairness to the Kings, after looking at their court online this morning, it's not bad. I don't have a problem with it.
It actually looks pretty cool. They've toned them down. They kind of did exactly what we said. They put the logo or the cup right there at center court, and it says Sacramento across it.
Yeah. It's maybe as good as anyone I've seen so far of the games that I've watched involving the NBA Cup. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, good games just starting, Rhino. Houston and San Antonio, down in San Antonio. So I think this is going to be maybe the best game of the night in the NBA. And I also think Chicago-Milwaukee, I think the Bucks are going to be ready for the Bulls tonight. The Bulls off to that great start at 6-1. The only loss was at MSG to the Knicks. But again, I'm really that Houston-San Antonio game was just starting. I think that's going to be really good.
Have it on right now. I'm watching the early minutes of it. They're getting up and down the court, 2-1
How's
right
their
now.
court look in San Antonio?
It looks good. It's
Okay.
a darker gray than the Kings, and then it's got a lighter gray outside the baselines.
Because the Clippers court, did you see the Clippers court? Embarrassing.
Is it bright red again?
No, it's I can't even explain. It's just awful. I had to turn the game off.
Oh.
I couldn't even watch it. It was awful.
Can I give you a quick, since you already have your rant chosen? The one that I was gonna, one of the topics that I was gonna give you is Draymond Green on his podcast said the only teams that are gonna be winning the West are either the Clippers, the Lakers, OKC, Denver, or Golden State.
And why would anyone care what Draymond Green has to say? That's number one. Number two, so he didn't have Minnesota on there, correct?
No Minnesota.
Okay. All right.
No Houston. No San Antonio.
Okay. So here's the other aspect of that. In this day and age of social media, and it shouldn't be like this, but some players will use that, and some teams will use that as motivation, particularly when they're playing against Golden State. Like, Kevin Durant will.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Kevin Durant is going to make a big deal out of that. And and I know that before Houston plays Golden State next time, that Durant is going to be asked about that. And Durant might say, what? He may not have heard about it, or he may have heard about it, and he'll comment on it. And his response will be one of, well, you'll see, right? And he'll make a big deal out of it. So I understand that when you do a podcast, you have to be opinionated and things of that nature. But, is that really necessary for Draymond Green to list the teams that could win the West?
No.
And why does he have his team on there?
Yeah, no, exactly. 'Cause they got out to a decent start. What's happened since then?
No, really.
You know what it is? I actually think, and don't quote me on this, I think Kevin Durant has already started responding to what Draymond Green had to say. So,
really, has he?
Along the lines of, if Draymond could have hit a shot, they would have won more championships when he was in Golden State.
Yeah. This is going to stick with Draymond for the whole year. And, Anthony Edwards isn't going to be bashful when he's asked about it.
Not a chance.
It's good for the league, because it gets, how fans are, how people are. They like they like the conflict. They like the banter. They like that. They get on social media and they get into that, right? It's always something. And Draymond is always stirring things up like that.
See,
I've never listened to Draymond Green's podcast. In other words, I don't remember ever sitting there and, I got to watch his podcast.
Right.
It's not relevant to me.
See, I think it loses a little bit of the mustard when that stuff's always coming from one place, and it's Draymond Green.
Yeah. The Warriors, I would not put in that group of teams that I feel could win the NBA championship. Now, you would tell me, why is that? Because of how well they played once they got Jimmy Butler. Because I don't have any confidence that team is going to be able to stay healthy long enough, particularly when the playoffs start, to make a playoff run.
Right.
OKC, we already know. Denver, we already know. The Houston Rockets, I'm still not sold on them yet. I want to see, as the year progresses, if they can go out and make a trade to acquire a quote-unquote true point guard. All right. Minnesota, to me, is off to a 4-4 start, but they've been without, Anthony Edwards. And I think when that team is healthy and they get on a roll, they're formidable. I don't think the Clippers could win a championship. I'm surprised that anyone would say that. I don't see how anyone could look at that roster with James Harden on it and say that they could win a championship. I just don't think it's possible.
That's the one that really stood out to me. I get he's going to say his own team. Obviously, you have Steph Curry, you always have a chance. But the Clippers with Kawhi not looking right, Harden, no. It's not happening in LA.
Not happening. The Lakers, to me, they're off to a really good start. And Luka's a dynamic player. And with how well Austin Reeves has played, if you told me LeBron's going to come back and be healthy and be productive night in, night out, I wouldn't bury them. I'd be very surprised if they made it to the NBA Finals. I personally don't think that they could beat Oklahoma City, and I don't think they would beat Denver. But, again, that's my opinion.
The problem with the Lakers in their peak efficiency, and if JJ Redick's able to figure this out, then they very well could. But Austin Reeves needs the ball. He's ball heavy. Same thing with Luka, and then you throw LeBron in there. I don't think you can get peak efficiency with those three on the floor at the same time.
Somebody said from the 916, Grant, one of my favorite rants you had as an NBA announcer many years ago was when the Utah Jazz mascot came out onto the court with a motorcycle. You didn't like that, and you mentioned it on the air. It was hilarious. I'll never forget that. Incredible. One of the most stupid things I've ever seen. So we're in Utah. I'm on the air, and the Jazz mascot comes out with a loud motorcycle. Okay. And he's revving it up, at center court. And everyone in the arena close to the court had their fingers in their ears. Okay. That's how loud it was. And I'm just like, this is the stupidest. Let's upset and tick off all of our premium fans with this absurd noise from a revved up motorcycle at midcourt. Yeah, that did not go over well with me. I did a little mini rant while I was announcing the game on that one. Yeah, brutal.
I get the idea of it because Karl Malone was a chopper guy, but yeah, those things are a little too loud.
Yeah. 916-779-0929. Grant's rant coming up in about 10 minutes. Then we have our picks in hour number 3 as well. Our NFL picks. We both were 2-2 last week, correct?
We were.
All right.
500. We need to do better.
Yeah.
Average
500.
is not good
How are you
enough.
doing in the pool that we do over affiliated with our podcast?
I'm picking at about 37%, and I did miss 1 week of picks.
Whoa. You missed a week, huh? You forgot to do it?
Yep, I missed a week, unfortunately. But I'm probably in the top 50 percentile. How about you?
I'm looking right now for you. All right.
You were near
I
the
won the
top
game last night, by the way. I am 12th out of 38th. I'm 66 and 67 for the year.
That's really good.
Is it?
Yes.
Right.
Vegas lines makers, they are 60, low end 63, high end 68%.
All right. Well, I did get the game. I was on the right end of the game. I took the points last night. There's too many points in a game like that. It's Denver's offense that can't score for the most part. I was like, give me the points.
Yeah.
Thursday night, give me the points.
Raiders on social media celebrating first downs.
Yeah, they had 10 first downs last night, which I thought was pretty good because a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City, they only had 3. So if I'm going to look at this from a glass half full, like I'm thinking, wow, the Raiders offense, wow, they've improved by over 300%, right?
It's true. It's a very good way to look at it.
I mean, think of it, if you had an investment and it went up by 300%, you'd be dancing in the streets, correct?
Maybe that's what Pete's selling the guys on. He's putting the PowerPoint up.
Yeah.
300% better last week, boys.
Yeah. It was actually more than a week ago, I think. But the point is, 3 first downs, and now all of a sudden you get 10. They're rolling. They are a pathetic franchise. If you're a fan of the Raiders, what must you be thinking? We always talk about the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. Where's the light at the end of the tunnel if you're a Raiders fan? Seriously, you don't have a quarterback. Geno's looked horrible. He's not going to be back next year. I don't see any way in the world Geno Smith is the quarterback of the Raiders. Yeah. So if you have a low draft pick or a high draft pick, depending on how you phrase it, you got to hope you draft the right guy. You got to hope that you're the Giants. And even though they didn't have a top draft pick, they traded up to get Jackson Dart at the end of the first round. You have to hope that you get a player like that.
Yep.
You have to get the right guy in there.
And to be fair, Colton Miller has been out. He's the best offensive lineman, left tackle. So Geno's not had the best production in the world, but you got to go get that quarterback. And you got to try not to put too much risk on that pick. I think you've got to go with whoever the solid guy is, the consensus. Don't go outside the fringes.
You can get up early Sunday morning at, I don't even know what time that is, 6:30 in the morning. and watch the Colts and the Falcons from Berlin, Giants and Bears from Chicago, Buffalo's at Miami, Minnesota home to Baltimore, Cleveland's at the Jets. Again, just wait till you see the crowd shots from that game and all the empties at that game. You know, Browns, even when the Browns are terrible, their fans show up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Browns fans everywhere. New England at Tampa, Carolina hosts New Orleans, Jacksonville's at Houston, Arizona at Seattle, and then in the late window, the two games, this is the best game. The Rams and the Niners, that's going to be a heck of a contest. I think it should be close. I'll give you my pick probably in the next hour on that game, but I'm not looking at this favorable from San Francisco. I think the Rams will be able to exploit that defense and do enough to even up their season series, split the two games. So I'm kind of leaning that way right now. You have Detroit at Washington, and then Pittsburgh is at the LA Chargers on Sunday night, and Monday Night Football, Philadelphia at Green Bay. I like that matchup, Philadelphia at Green Bay. It could be a NFC Championship preview or certainly an NFC preview. So we've got that coming up on Monday night. 916-779-0929. Grant, why is Geno going to be the quarterback next week? I don't know if he is. We'll wait and see. I don't really think that is the only problem with the Raiders. I mean, they have a variety of problems, but that is definitely, I think, number one on the list. It's not the only problem of concern, but it is certainly the number one on the list. I mean, if you're going to prioritize and you're going to look at that team, you got to say it is number one on your list. So we're going to talk NFL coming up in hour number 3. We got Grant's Rant. We'll have more on the Kings and the Thunder. If you are on your way to the game tonight, hope you have a great time. The NBA Cup. Yeah, right here in Sacktown. And I've got the rant coming up. Going a little different direction this time on my rant. I've never done a rant like this. This will be the first time that I'm tackling a subject like this. I was thinking about all the rants that I've done in all the years. I've never done this rant. I've never even hinted at this rant. But I'm going to go at it strong when we come back right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways dealing with some heavy rush hour delays, especially on I-5 northbound and southbound from Del Paso Road down to about Sutterville Road. Give yourself that extra time through there. Just a reminder that we do have that 55-hour weekend ramp closure scheduled starting tonight around midnight. So if you do head out, plan accordingly to get around those ramp closures. No accidents reported in Sacramento, which is some really good news. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Cameron, I just think we need to, see other people.
Are you trading me in?
No. A trade-in is what I'm getting from Kitchen Mart.
A trade-in?
Right now, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 credit when you trade in your old kitchen countertops for something worth showing off, like granite, marble, or solid surface.
I'm not worth showing off?
Not like the stunning new quartz countertops Kitchen Mart just installed for Karen and Tom.
Huh.
Durable, easy cleanup, made their kitchen look brand new. And Kitchen Mart gave them a $750 trade-in credit to haul off their ugly old tile and grout countertop.
You're dumping me.
That's harsh. You want me to wait till I get the new countertops from Kitchen Mart?
At least hold off till Wednesday. I'm seeing Susan.
Susan!
Now's the perfect time to trade up to beautiful new quartz, granite, marble, or solid surface countertops. Because for a limited time, KitchenMart's offering a $750 trade-in credit for your old countertops. Go to KitchenMart.com today and schedule a free in-home consultation and save $750 off new countertops.
No one does it better than KitchenMart.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NBA season is not even a month old, but the Pelicans are looking uncompetitive. And it's time to have that uncomfortable conversation. This past offseason, New Orleans made a series of head-scratching moves that now look flat-out disastrous. They traded the Pacers pick back to Indiana for the number 23 selection, a team that's currently looking like a number 1 overall pick contender, and then packaged that pick, plus their own unprotected 2026 first-rounder, to move up for Derek Queen at number 13. If that wasn't puzzling enough, Queen has been sparingly played in 8 games. So to recap, the Pelicans sit with 2 wins without a 2026 first-round pick, and the upcoming draft has a lot of generational prospects. There's a fine line between being bold and being reckless. And right now, New Orleans looks like a franchise that's crossed it and done so without a parachute. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It's being called the Golden Bonanza Sweepstakes. Thanks to our friends at Mako, the DP Show, proud to be a part of this, giving listeners a chance to join us in San Francisco for Super Week. That's right, a trip for 2, including round-trip coach airfare, 3 nights, hotel stay, ground transportation, and VIP access to see us do our show. If that's not enough, Mako also giving away 5 free paint jobs and 10 Mako and DP Show swag bags as runner-up prizes. It's really simple to enter. You go to danpatrick.com. The best news, you can enter daily for a chance to win. You can also receive a 25% off coupon to use at any Mako shop. Visit any Mako location now for a free estimate and redeem the coupon. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, go to danpatrick.com for official rules. No purchase necessary. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Open to contiguous U.S. D.C. residents 18 or over. Ends 11/23/20.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
All right, let me preface this rant as stating that this is not a political rant, okay? And I have to put that out there because of the messed up society that we live in, that we can't share a difference of opinion. This rant is not that, okay? So as you listen to my rant, it has nothing to do with that. However, if you are going to the Detroit Lions game in Washington, in Landover, Maryland, you might want to start leaving 24 hours before the game, because President Trump has announced that he is going to be going to the game on Sunday afternoon. So what does that mean? It means that the drive from the White House to Landover, which is approximately 11 to 12 miles, all the roads in the area will be completely blocked off. That's right. And if you've ever been to the stadium there, you know what a freaking nightmare it could be, right? So if you are a fan going to that game, you now have to change your travel plans. That's correct. And you also have to plan that you are going to be in gridlock traffic, not for 5 minutes, not for 10 minutes, not for 30 minutes, but for hours, because that's what happens. I don't understand this. How about watching the game at the White House? All right, how about that? Instead of inconveniencing so many people that are going to the game. Listen, I used to see George Bush, you know, the president, at major league games because of his involvement with the Texas Rangers. Here's the deal that I would like to see. I'm okay when the president goes to the Super Bowl. I think that's fine. It is the Super Bowl. It's the biggest sporting event of the year. I'm fine with that. I'm actually fine to see the president be at the Army-Navy game every year. That makes sense to me. But you're going to a regular season game and you're going to disrupt thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I mean, it's ridiculous. Have you ever been to an area where the president is coming to? Have you ever seen what that's like? Like, it's gridlock. I mean, even if you're flying into an airport, have you ever been on a plane and you're delayed and you're pulling back from the gate and you are heading out to the runway and you're like, wow, this is great. The plane is going to be on time. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if this has happened to you, the captain comes down and goes, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a hold due to the arrival of the president and Air Force One. And it really shouldn't be that long, but right now the entire airport is on a hold. And so we will notify you when we are able to proceed. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And now all the planes are backed up. And then 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, after you're number 18 in line for takeoff, you're good to go. And listen, I'm not an expert when it comes to presidential security. I understand there's probably a really good reason for it. I know that there's protected airspace when Air Force One is in the air. I get that. All right. I understand the reasons for that. But it just drives you freaking crazy. New York, I mean, you know how many times I've been to New York when in the month of September, when you have the various heads of state from around the world at the UN Assembly, the NBA broadcast meetings were normally around that time of year. And you want to talk about, like, they close off entire avenues in New York City, like close them off. I mean, you want to talk about a city in gridlock, okay? And I understand there has to be a level of security, but like, what about the fans when we talk about these events? And listen, I understand the Super Bowl. I get it, right? We've seen many presidents at the Super Bowls. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the inconvenience as a fan that I've been to, okay, at the Super Bowl, because it's the Super Bowl. You're going to have big time security anyway, and you're probably not running out the door an hour before the game to get to kickoff. If you're going to the Super Bowl, you're probably there ahead of time. You're probably there celebrating the weekend. You're probably there hours and hours and hours before the game, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But if you're a fan of Washington, or you're flying in from Motown to go watch your Lions play, okay, and when you land at National Airport or wherever you're flying into, guess what? Your trip to the stadium is going to be a freaking nightmare. All right? It is going to be a nightmare. It is going to be gridlock. So if you're a Lions fan and you're now flying in for the game on Sunday morning, you may want to change your flight and get there earlier. Because if you think you're landing, okay, at a certain time, you're going to have plenty of time to get to the game, you're not. You're absolutely not. So how about just the Super Bowl, all right? We don't need to have a regular season game and all the nonsense in the gridlock. I've experienced it before. It's not pleasant, okay? It is hard. It actually becomes so infuriating, like you don't even want to go to the game. You can't move. You just can't move. Traffic is backed up. People get agitated. You know, horns are blaring all over the place. People are upset, right? You're being inconvenienced. There's no reason to have to go to the Washington-Detroit Lions game. Go to the Super Bowl. Fine. No problem. Army-Navy game? Okay. Right? I mean, come on now. How about the fans? How about the fans? Do we care about the fans? Do we care about traffic? Do we care about the way it's going to be gridlock? No. And this has happened many times. Not necessarily NFL regular season games. I think I read where the last president to go to a regular season football game was 4 decades ago. All right? So it doesn't happen very often. And I don't believe that a president has ever been to a Washington game in Landover. I believe I read that as well, that has never happened before. So it's going to be a first time. How about wait till at least they maybe make the freaking playoffs? All right? How about wait for that, then go to the game? Regular season, Detroit, Washington, why? Why inconvenience, 70,000 fans that are going to the game? So if you are listening to this, and by some chance you're going to the game, leave early. Leave early. I've been there. I've been to tennis matches, big tennis matches at the U.S. Open when everything has been just completely stalled because the president was going. I mean, it's crazy. Have you ever experienced that? It is a freaking nightmare. A nightmare. And that's my rant for today. Rhino, have you ever experienced that when you are in an area that the president is visiting?
No, I have not.
Oh, my gosh.
I've got to think, though, stadium security is going to be increased as well. It
Of
might
course
not
it
be
is.
as quick getting into the game once you're there.
Of course it is.
Isn't
100%.
Isn't this the time to bring in the chopper? Like,
I don't know.
land the chopper.
I can't. I mean, I don't know the area well enough to know where the chopper could land. I mean, I'm sure,
parking lot.
Okay. So what do you think? What is the surrounding area that you would have to clear for Marine One to land at the parking lot at the Washington game? Are you kidding me? Like you're not just clearing out a little area, right? You would have to take over an entire parking lot.
All right, fair enough. He is, by the way, the reports are he is attending the game because it's the NFL's Salute to Service month, and there's going to be a halftime commemoration done.
Okay. And again, this is not me attacking President Trump. It's just the point of, high-ranking officials, and in this case, the highest-ranking office probably in the land. I don't think we would really argue that. It's unbelievable to me. It really is. And I've been to events. I was at the U.S. Open. I can't remember when the finals with my good friend Chuck, and the president was there. And I'm telling you, it's a pain in the neck. It really is. Someone says Trump goes to the UFC all the time. Never heard anyone say anything about traffic. Vegas is different in the UFC because you can walk to the UFC, and most people do walk. So I don't know if I would use that as a great example.
And it's 20,000 people, not 70.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
In fact,
Yeah.
Washington Stadium holds over 100,000, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think there's an NFL stadium at 100,000. Look up the seating capacity of that.
On it.
Yeah. But the good luck if you go into the game. Again, Super Bowl, I'm fine with the Super Bowl. I don't care. That's fine. I think you should. I think it's great. Not that every president goes to the Super Bowl, but there have been a lot of presidents that have attended the Super Bowl before. The Super Bowl, the security is I don't think you can get tighter security at a Super Bowl than already exists. So like the security for the Super Bowl is already in place. Like I don't think you have to put a lot of added security. I do know this, the security detail for the president, because I've been very close with a couple of Secret Service members, and I was on Air Force One and actually talked to the pilots of Air Force One about an hour before the then President Obama got on the plane at Moffett Air Force Base in San Jose. And I got a real education about the security that goes into the president when he goes to another area of the country or the world. The security is beyond comprehension. It's beyond comprehension. And there are two 747-400s, and the plane that is designated as Air Force One is the plane that the president is on. But they have two full 747s, identical planes that are fully staffed, food, medical supplies. And that 747 goes to another airport in the area and is ready to go on standby in case of an emergency. So like it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing how the preparation to travel, and the preparation is many instances weeks ahead of time when the president is going abroad or even to another area in the country. There's the detail for that is incredible, Rhino. It's unbelievable.
I'm not going to go into the story, but we knew some family friends that were going to get to spend time with the president at a university, and the vetting that went into the pre-planning, what they had to go through was insane. But FedEx Field, it was much bigger at one time, but they reduced the capacity in 1997 because of declining attendance. So it is now 62 to 65.
Okay. Yeah. I knew it wasn't 100. There is no stadium in the NFL that is 100,000.
I wonder what Jerry's World can get up to.
Yeah. It's not 100,000. I don't think. It's probably pretty big, but I don't think it's 100,000. And I'm not anti presidents going to like the major sporting events. Like Super Bowl, I don't have a problem with that. I can't remember specifically, although I believe at the Super Bowl that I was at, the president was there. I wouldn't swear to it. I've been at 3 Super Bowls, so I wouldn't swear to it. But, there have been 3 or 4 instances where I've been flying where the flights have been delayed because of Air Force One in the area. And I get that. I understand that they have to have protected airspace. Like, that makes sense to me. I don't necessarily understand the space that is granted on the airport tarmacs and on the ground as much. Like, that to me is a little more difficult to understand, but I know they have their reasons, and I'm okay. I mean, that's part of life. You have the president coming in, you're on an airplane, and Air Force One's getting ready to land. I get that. That makes sense to me.
It had to have been at major cities, though, right?
Yeah. I think one was at LAX, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I wouldn't swear to it. And the other one was at JFK. I was at JFK when the president, and this was a long time ago. I want to say, I can't remember how long ago, but it may have been Bush. It was before Obama. Yeah. But yeah, it's part of the deal. When you're flying, that's just it was, what it was? I was flying in for the NBA. Well, actually, yeah, it was the NBA broadcast meetings, and the heads of state from all over the world really were flying in. But when Trump was coming in, when the president was coming in, yeah, I mean, it was gridlock, absolutely gridlock at JFK. And all the planes that had flown in with the various heads of state from around the world, the protection at JFK, you could imagine it has to be. I mean, come on.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Jerry's World, 80,000 for football, up to 100,000, actually 105,000 for smaller events.
Okay. All right. Hey, DAS Mechanical, family owned and operated since 2018, locally serving Sacramento and Placer counties. DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. So listen, right now, maybe your HVAC system's working very well. Maybe it needs to be retrofitted, and maybe you need a new system. DAS Mechanical is awesome. They are specialists in this area. They have so many 5-star reviews if you check out their website, dasmechanical.org, and they have numerous Best of the Best awards. And should you need a new HVAC unit, financing options are available, including 0% interest for 18 months with rebates up to $6,000. So when it comes to your heating, air conditioning, keep in mind dasmechanical.org. And right now, through the end of this month, a $69 winter maintenance check. That's right, only $69. Go to D as in dog, AS as in Sam, mechanical.org. Book right online. Check out all of their 5-star reviews. And again, there are numerous Best of the Best awards. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org. Don't forget, we're about 15 minutes away from this week's NFL picks. Your phone calls at 916-779-0929. Next, right here on the Grant Napear Show.
Fox Sports Traffic as we take another look at the roadways. Heavy rush hour delays exist throughout all of Sacramento. Cap City Freeway, Top of the Town Freeway, US 50 and I-5, y'all stocked in with heavy rush hour delays through there. Just a reminder that we do have that 55-hour weekend ramp closure going on Highway 99 northbound at I-80 and also through the US 50 interchanges as well. So if you're out and about over the weekend, plan accordingly. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned 5-star service experts and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Need new tires? Now through November 30th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone Weatherpeak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $60 instantly. Only at Express Tires. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid November 1st through November 30th, 2025. Cannot be combined with other offers. See store for details.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Kings and Thunder tonight, 7 o'clock. The OKC Thunder coming off a loss. They're healthy with the exception of Dort, who won't play. The Kings will be without Domantas Sabonis. I just can't see how the Kings can win this game. I know we talked about what you think they need to do, but even if they do all those things, unless Oklahoma City plays a bad game, I don't see how they don't win. I mean, they're just too good. They're dialed in. They're coming off a loss. You don't have Sabonis, which changes everything for Sacramento. So, like, I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think defensively, there's just no way in the world they're going to be able to play with Oklahoma City. They're not going to be able to stop them. They're just not.
If the Thunder come in with that mindset that you talked about, coming off a loss, they will wallop the Kings right from the beginning. You might get a run here, a run there from the Kings, but they're just too good.
They are too good. And I know that they want to win 70. They want to really become a dynasty there. That's been their mantra, the entire offseason. And whereas they have one championship, they have everything in their makings to do that, Ryan. I mean, when you think about the makeup of the team, the age of this team, the assets that they have a chance to become a dynasty. They really do.
Absolutely. They have the ability with the draft to still get some very, very good players, high picks, and they're developing talent, not to mention they're going to be able to flip talent for other high-level talent when they start to progress. So it's all lined up very well for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Kings are going to have to play, an A-plus game, and they're going to have to hope that Oklahoma City does not have a good game, which, hey, listen, it's the NBA. It happens. Teams don't make shots. Teams are a little stagnant or whatever. I just don't think you're going to see that tonight with OKC because they're coming off a loss. Had they won against Portland, I could say, maybe they'll be a little lackadaisical, maybe, but coming off a loss, I think that the Thunder are, I don't want to say refocused because they seem like they're really focused every time they play, but I just can't see them having any type of a letdown.
The spread is 11.5. Does that surprise you?
Without Sabonis? No.
See,
I think this game could be very ugly tonight.
I think it should be more than that without
you
Sabonis.
think it's, what do you think it should be?
To me, it feels like 14.5.
Okay. All right. I didn't even look at the number. What is it, did you say?
It's 11.5, according to ESPN.com.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is the Kings are going to have to play a near perfect game without Sabonis.
A bold prediction, perhaps, from you that would need to happen for the Kings to win?
SGA would have to get hurt in the first half.
Oof.
And I'm not rooting for that.
No.
I don't root for anyone to get hurt, even if I don't care for that player.
Yeah.
That you want to know, he'd have to turn his ankle. He'd have to have something happen to him early in the game that would have him off the floor.
I think
What about you?
I think you need a 40-point night from Malik Monk.
40? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be on the court long enough to get 40. That's the problem.
Well, if he's hot, you got to keep playing him. Well,
I understand,
maybe you
but
don't.
that's not the way Doug coaches.
He didn't remember the night. I forget which game it was, but they ended up winning. It was Utah. Malik kept them in the game offensively. He was on fire from beyond the arc. And Doug took him out and then put him in finally in the last 29 seconds.
Speaking of the West, did you see Phoenix last night and who made his return?
Jalen Green.
And did you see the impact he had on that game? He had 29 points, and Phoenix wins 115 to 102. And that is their fourth win against 5 losses. And with Jalen Green, if they get Dylan Brooks back, okay, you look at Dylan Brooks, who did not play last night, got a groin issue. I told you at the beginning of the year, I thought Phoenix was better than a lot of people were giving them credit for.
They did a very good job of flipping that roster. And you could have said they did a good job based on the compensation for Durant alone, but they really flipped it. And they've turned over a lot to Colin Gillespie at the point guard position, and he is playing really well. He's stirring things up.
All right, a couple of scores in the NBA at the half. Again, Orlando leads Boston 59-51. Washington is home to Cleveland. They're getting blown off the floor 76-59 at the break. Houston is 10 up on San Antonio with 6 minutes left to go in the first half. Chicago and Milwaukee, 5 minutes left in a very low-scoring first quarter so far, 15-11. Kings tonight, game 2 of this 5-game set. And then coming up on Sunday, they've got Minnesota, followed by Denver, and then the Kings will play Atlanta the very next night. It will be their third game in 4 nights, albeit all the games are at home, so there's no travel associated with that, but it's still 3 games in 4 nights, and then a very, very difficult road trip at Minnesota, at San Antonio, at Oklahoma City, at Memphis, at Denver. A brutal stretch coming up. Maybe Memphis, not so difficult, although it's the second night of a back-to-back. I think you'll have a new coach in Memphis by then. I think there's a good chance. So maybe you'll have a different vibe in Memphis. But, again, I think Minnesota, tough matchup without Keegan Murray, with Randall on the floor. And let's hope Keegan Murray's coming back soon. I haven't heard anything but I mean, he's sooner rather than later now. We're now talking about the second week of November getting ready to start.
Yep, I've been trying to poke around. He was on the court recently on the road trip getting some work in. He's still got the splint, though, on his left hand. San Antonio on the road trip is an interesting one because if they lose tonight, that'll be their 3rd straight loss.
Well, Fox is coming back tomorrow.
Yep.
And so when you look at San Antonio, and I'm glad you brought that up, because De'Aaron Fox is going to make his season debut tomorrow against Indiana. And when you think about, okay, how long will it take?
I believe it's the Pelicans.
Oh, what did I say?
Indiana.
I'm sorry. You're right. It is the Pelicans, and thank you for correcting me. They play the Pelicans tomorrow. And so what I think's interesting about that, if you want to look at this from Sacramento's perspective, Fox comes back tomorrow against New Orleans, and then we'll have the Chicago game on the road, 2 home games against Golden State before the Kings come in. So by then, this team with De'Aaron Fox should be in rhythm. Any rust that they may have implementing a new player who's going to be a big part of this team, 5 games should be plenty, or 4 games should be plenty to be in a rhythm when Sacramento gets to town.
It's a great point. I do want to see if De'Aaron is playing with full confidence in that hamstring because he has missed significant time to this. This was in the middle of the summer. He had to cancel his tour to Asia with Under Armour because of it. So we'll see what De'Aaron Fox it is.
I can't imagine that Fox is coming back sooner than he should. And especially with the good start that the Spurs have gotten off to, I'd be surprised if that's going to be an issue for him because maybe more so than any other player in the league, his speed is the most important aspect to his game.
Spot on.
And I can't imagine him coming back if that was not 100%.
And will he be on any type of minutes restrictions? Will he be, getting the second night of a back-to-back off? You don't know what that management's going to look like.
Very interesting. And that game tonight you're talking about, they are losing at the moment to the Houston Rockets 47-37 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Wembanyama, very quiet game so far with 14 points. Somebody said on the text line from the 650, thank you for the message, Wemby's numbers have tanked. Do you think it's because of adjustments teams are making? I'm sure that's part of it. And I think it's going to be more difficult for that to occur when you have Fox on the floor because it's going to be a different tempo, a different style, and that's another player you have to, worry about. I could see, him and Wembanyama being pretty formidable.
Yeah.
But, I'm looking at this game right now, and I'm looking at, the totals. a very, very slow first half, and it's all about shooting. They're only shooting 37% from the floor. So you're not going to score a lot of points when you're shooting only 37% from the floor.
No, and the last time I looked at Wemby's numbers during this last 2-3 game stretch, he hasn't been taking very many 3-pointers. So that's something that really boosts his number when he's taking those regularly and efficiently.
Somebody asked me about how I got on Air Force. I knew the head purser through a friend, and long story short, about a month ahead of time when they had the itinerary come out that Air Force One would be in California, my wife and me, and we had to send all of our documents to the proper people associated with this, with the government, photos of our passport, things of that nature. We had to get vetted first. And then President Obama was talking at Stanford, and Air Force One was at Moffett Air Force Base. And so we had to visit the day that Obama was at Stanford, and we go to Moffett Air Force Base, and we wait in the hangar, and then they escort us out onto the tarmac, and there's a big SUV at the nose of the aircraft, and they said, you can take pictures outside the aircraft, so if you want to take photos, you can take photos. And there were photos of us on not the main stairs leading up to where the nose of the airplane is, but the smaller staircase, which leads into the belly of the airplane. They let us walk up onto those stairs and take pictures with the presidential seal behind us of Air Force One. They let us take photos of, which the Secret Service helped us with, a family photo on the tarmac with Air Force One in the background. But then before we boarded the aircraft, we had to have our cell phones put into the SUV, and they wanded us after we had already gone through security twice. We all got wanded again, and then our tour began. And the tour was so unbelievable that I ended up sitting in the captain's chair in the cockpit of Air Force One, talking to the captain and the co-pilots, which was just a thrill for me because everyone knows how much I love flying. But to be sitting in the captain's chair on Air Force One to this day is one of the most amazing, coolest experiences that I've ever had. And the plane was fully stocked with the workers, the staff, the Secret Service, because President Obama was going to be coming onto the plane right after his talk in Stanford. So it was a pretty neat experience.
So you actually toured Air Force One that was one before he went to Stanford.
Well, Air Force One is still Air Force One. Well, I don't know if it's technically Air Force One while it's sitting on the tarmac, but yeah, we were on Air Force One while he was speaking 45 minutes away on the campus of Stanford. And so the plane was getting ready to leave to go to Seattle. So you had all the Secret Service there. The pilots were there. Everything was ready for a flight, which was pretty cool. So we had there was only one place that we were not taken, and that was into the president's bathroom area. But we went into the sleeping area, which is on the lower level of the 747, underneath the nose of the aircraft. So we were in there. We were in the Oval Office in the air. We were in the conference room. We were in an area of the aircraft where they removed seats for Ronald Reagan's flight, his final flight from D.C. to his final resting place, where they put the casket, and they explained to us that these seats were removed to put the casket here. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was a phenomenal experience. Phenomenal. Incredible. Never forget it. But you know me, Ryan, my love of my flying, to be sitting in the cap, and my son, and we all, my wife didn't, but we all took turns sitting in a captain's chair. I'm like, they said, yeah, you can sit there if you want. I'm like, oh, yeah. I let the kids go first because, I didn't want to be that greedy.
It's
but
a
I'm
tight
like,
squeeze,
I can't wait to sit in the captain's chair,
It's a tight squeeze for 6'2".
That's all right. I made it work, my friend. I made it work.
Yeah,
I made it
you
work.
would have made anything work to get in that chair.
Oh my gosh. It was absolutely amazing. I really couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And you're also, the nose of a 747, because you have to walk up the stairs to get into the cockpit. And you walk up there, and I think there were 3 Air Force personnel all in front of their computer screens, and they were explaining to us how they can, take a call from anywhere in the world and send it to anyone they want on the airplane through this way and that way. And they were explaining to us how, the coding of this and the privacy, and it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating. The equipment, and again, this has probably been updated since then, but just even the computer equipment before you actually walk into the cockpit on each wall of the airplane was fascinating to me. Incredible. All right, speaking of incredible, we need to go, all right, more than 2-2 on our NFL picks, and we're going to be doing that in a moment or two. But I want to tell you about Spencer Grimmenstein, who I met 25 years ago. He's with Village Financial Group, and when it comes to real estate, I think you're going to love the work that Spencer will do for you. First of all, it's a family-owned business. He has tremendous experience, and the market's changing now. A lot of people are taking advantage of the rates that have dipped below 6%, and there are a lot of properties available, and things are picking up as we head into the holidays and the new year. You can take advantage of this by contacting Spencer. You can call him or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. That's Village Financial Group. And again, he is very experienced, and he's a financing specialist. He's very creative, and he has access to private money. So keep that in mind. Give him a call, 916-805-4868, and be sure and ask about the Investors Special. The online, check out the 9,000-plus properties available. Easy to do. VFGloans.com, VFGloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Our picks to wrap up the week, next, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Sports traffic as we take one final look at the roadways for this Friday evening. Normal rush hour delays are in full swing throughout all of Sacramento. We are working one problem with an on-ramp from Grant Line Road to the southbound side of Highway 99 in South Sacramento, so give yourself some extra time to work your way through that accident scene. Heavy rush hour delays on Cap City Freeway in between I-80 and US 50 as well, with twice-an-hour traffic. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
Brad Gazan on Atlanta United. We know everyone has a ritual, a habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Find resources at georgia.loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Yes, our NFL picks. Did we have a winner from last week?
We do. BJ! Congratulations, my man. You won a $100 gift card to Bennett's Restaurants. Go check them out, Bennett'sRestaurants.com. 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area.
Awesome. All right. 2-2. 2-2. That's what we were last week. I'll let you go first. Go ahead, man. Start us off.
Oh, you're going to give me the honors. Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to give you the honors.
All right.
Young man.
I am going down to SoFi Stadium, Napes, that is about to be taken over by Pittsburgh Steelers fans. No Joe Walt for the Chargers is no good. Did you see what happened in New York when they didn't have him? I think it's going to be a long night for Justin Herbert. I think TJ Watt gets after him. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers +3.
Okay. Interesting. All right. The Baltimore Ravens, I think they have new life. I think they're off the mat. And I think when you look at that division, as bad of a start they've had, when they have Lamar Jackson on the field, when they are right, they're still pretty formidable. I'm going to pick them, okay, to beat Minnesota, and I'm going to pick them to beat Minnesota by more than the 3.5. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens -3.5 at Minnesota.
You like what you see out of Lamar Jackson, yeah?
How can you not? The guy's a dynamic player.
Some of those teams that we talked about counting out, Kansas City, Baltimore, you got a quarterback like that, sometimes you are just never out of it. So,
and the division's not that good.
Yeah.
And you have Cleveland and Cincinnati, which are terrible. So it's still right up there for the grabs. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they still play Pittsburgh twice.
Indeed. Good point there. All right, I'm going to the Hawks' Nest. I'm headed to the Pacific Northwest. Seattle Seahawks home to the Arizona Cardinals. It's a divisional game. The Cardinals usually play the Seahawks pretty well up there. However, that's usually the last game of the year. This is the middle of the season. Kyler Murray on the IR. The Seahawks are so balanced right now. I love what they're doing. Give me the Seahawks. I'll lay the 6.5.
Yeah, that was a game I was going to take too. So I'll go in a different direction here. And I'm going to go to the Miami-Buffalo game. When they played earlier in the season, week 3, I believe it was, on a Thursday night, Miami lost by 10, but they were very competitive. But after the bye week, Buffalo seems to have found themselves that they seem to have a renewed, ready to go, let's go. 9.5's a lot, but I think Miami is they're just in disarray, I think. That's a lot of points.
It's a lot.
I'm going to give the 9.5, but I'm going to take Buffalo to beat Miami.
Is that a 10 a.m. game here on the West Coast?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Third pick for me, man. I don't know where to go on the board here, Nate. Why don't we go to Indianapolis? They are back at home hosting the Falcons. The Falcons, Jekyll and Hyde, they're either physical and running the ball and just taking away time of possession, or they don't show up. I think this is a game they do not show up. Colts back at home. I still love what their offense is doing. I don't like Indiana Jones as a nickname, but give me Daniel Jones. Give me Taylor running the ball in the Colts -6.5.
All right. Rams-Niners, maybe the big game of the week. The Niners are getting 5.5 at home. I don't know if they win this game, but their season, to me, depends on them winning this game. I think you're going to get the best that they have to offer. Mac Jones will be a quarterback who he played very well the first time he met the Rams on a Thursday night on a short week. Kyle Shanahan, great coach. I think the Niners will make this close. It's a big divisional game. I don't see a lot of separation. I'll take the 5.5. Give me the Niners at home plus 5.5.
I am going to lay the 5.5 in that game. Not the best home atmosphere for San Francisco. I think you're going to see a decent amount of Rams fans make the trip up. I think there's some transplants here in Northern California. I just think the Rams are too good for the Niners, especially with the depleted defense. If you can somewhat get to Mac Jones, who's been banged up, I think the Niners are going to run into problems. I know McCaffrey has been really good, but for me, Niner fan, the faithful, this is the end of the road, I think, for your season. Give me the Rams minus 5.5.
All right, a game that I won't be watching, but the Carolina Panthers, again, they're a roller coaster. I don't have them figured out. They can look really, really good, or they can look really bad. They're at home against the Saints, who are really bad. I like the Panthers in this game. I'll give the 5.5. I think the Panthers are more of a better team than they are of a bad team. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I never thought I would take the Panthers, but they're giving 5.5. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers to beat the Saints by more than 5.5 points.
All right. Okay, we got to do a couple wild card games here that we'll just
real quickly,
around.
just to recap, you have Pittsburgh, Seattle, Indy, and the Rams. I have Baltimore, Buffalo, San Francisco, and Carolina.
That is it. We'll put it out on the X. Remember, respond to that tweet, go off of the DraftKings lines, and you will be eligible, like BJ, to win a $100 gift card to Bennett's. So make sure you look for that. Okay, here's one that caught my eye. We've talked about it. Jets and Browns. Jets, 1.5 favorites at home. Which way would you go there?
I think the biggest line should be the over and under of empty seats at MetLife Stadium. I'm going to say the over-under, I'm going to put it 31,000, and I'm taking the over. I think there will be more than 31,000 empty seats at this game.
Really?
Yeah.
New York fans always seems to show up. They're going to be excited that they got all these picks.
No. Their fans are they're done. 31. I think they're going to be 31,000 empty seats. But anyway, what's the line in this game?
It's a 1.5 for the Jets.
I'm probably taking the Jets.
Me too. I think the Jets win that one. How about Houston and the Jaguars? The Jaguars are a 1.5 favorites on the road.
I don't have a good read on Houston. They just seem to be. I can't figure them out. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I think they win the game.
I'm with you. Losing Travis Hunter hurts, but yeah, I think Jacksonville wins that one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but
Jacoby Myers.
So again,
new toy.
Go ahead.
Jacoby Myers, new toy for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Again, I have Baltimore. I have Buffalo. I have the Niners. I have Carolina. Ryan's got Pittsburgh, Seattle, the Rams, and Indianapolis. So there are our picks. I was going to jump on that same game as you did at Seattle. I like them. I think they're going to pound Arizona this week. I really do.
Yeah. I think it was the Saints game when I said it's going to be close. Seattle doesn't usually cover that way. This feels like a little bit of a different team. Knock on wood.
Somebody asked me if I'm excited for the NBA Cup games. I've literally planned my entire fall schedule around the NBA Cup games. So yes, I'm actually trying to figure out how I can get to Vegas for the championship game and make that my go-to event for the year.
I mean, if you're going to get to Vegas, you might as well get the good seats. Do the whole experience. Get courtside seats in Vegas. Maybe the night before you go to the Sphere, check something out there.
I'm going to call up Jimmy Goldstein, the great fan with the cowboy hat on all the time and his decked out clothes.
Yep.
Because I know Jimmy will be at the game, and I'll say, Jimmy, listen, can you hook me up, buddy? You hang out, sit next to each other, have a good time at the game.
Is he a good conversation?
He's great. I talk to him every time I see him at the Clip. Every time we were in LA, whether it was the Clippers or the Lakers, I would talk to him every game. Great guy. Great guy.
He's a big tennis guy too.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't go, but he plays. Yeah, he's got one of the more beautiful views of Los Angeles from his home. Yeah,
he's money walking around is what he is.
Never see him in the same outfit twice.
No,
Ever.
no. I love talking to him. He's tremendous. By the way, the Spurs have come back and they lead at the break 51-50. So you see what happened? We were starting to come down on San Antonio and Wemby, and gee, they're in this slide. And since then, they go on a run and they lead 51-50. Back to Jimmy Goldstein, though. The guy is like, the Marlins man?
Yeah, every World Series.
And you saw him at the World Series with his Marlins. Like, he's always at the big games with his Marlins shirt on, Marlins jersey. Like, Jimmy Goldstein's always at a big NBA game. Always.
And you always see the players before the game coming up to him, having conversations.
Everyone loves Jimmy. Everyone talks to Jimmy. He knows everybody. Refs, players, broadcasters. I used to talk to him every single time we were in town. He would talk to me about the team. See, that's the other thing. He talks to these individuals and he gets, he's able to enhance his knowledge of all the teams because he's talking to people that, follow the team every day. It's different when you watch a team on TV occasionally and you're with the team every day. You get to learn a lot more about them. And Jimmy would pick your brain on stuff. I always found that to be fascinating.
I love that he still travels around and
it's amazing.
Goes to the big games.
He's
I'd love
incredible.
to meet him sometime. Actually, if he ever comes to Sacramento, I will go up. And
he'll come to Sacramento if they ever make the playoffs and it's a big game. So, I mean, I don't think that's going to be anytime soon. But yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'll go.
He's 85 years old now.
Really?
Yep. He's 85.
Do you know how he made his
real estate
egg? Okay.
Yep.
I was wondering if it was fashion.
Well, his real estate has enabled him to have fashion, but he's pretty amazing. David Stern once said about him, he has so much invested in our sport. He probably has the largest investment of any fan in America. So we get a kick out of him. He has got quite a flair and we love him as sort of a super fan. He is a super fan.
Yes.
Exactly what he is.
He's probably the NBA's #1 super fan. Most recognizable.
I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah. By the way, he has refused. I'm reading this now. He doesn't like talking about anything to do with money or how he made his money. All right. He's made, again, the Wall Street Journal speculated that he had made billions, not millions, billions of dollars in real estate, notably Century City in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know a lot about his life outside of basketball, but by the way, he's never been married and he has no children. But he does have many beautiful ladies that he goes to the games with that I have seen him with on many occasions.
Grant, go look at his social media. I think on Instagram, the functions, he calls it like Club Goldstein or something.
Oh, yeah.
The functions he has, and even just I don't want to say famous people, but very interesting people, even outside of basketball, that go to spend time with him or play tennis with him, with the panoramic view of Los Angeles around.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Instagram photo. He's living life large.
He's living his best life.
He's living his best life. That's exactly right. And as you say, as I'm looking at his pictures on Instagram, he doesn't have the same outfit on twice.
That was an easy bet.
Yep. James F. Goldstein on Instagram, if you want to check out his amazing photos. Amazing. His photo of 3 days ago, just like, wow, Jimmy. And you're right. He always has the beautiful skylines in the background if he's, in one of those properties. But wow, look at Jimmy Goldstein. I'm looking at his pictures. I'm like, wow.
Do you think Jimmy Goldstein would come on here and talk basketball with us?
I don't know how I would get a hold of him.
Maybe I can get
Probably not. I don't know how I would get a hold of him. Hey, Grant, Tim and the Thomas here just made a parlay based on your guys' picks on, I don't know. I took your 49ers pick on that game and out of my own Philadelphia. If I win, it will net me $846.19. Hey, I'm not involved with your money, your wins or lose. Don't go by what I say. Okay. We're doing this 100% for fun. And I don't want you to be upset if my picks are wrong. So you're doing that on your own. Don't go by what my picks are. That's one thing I made very clear. We're doing this for fun. All right. We're doing it for fun. I don't want people to like take what I say and then be upset at me because they made a bet and they lost. That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this just for fun. I think it's fun to do. And I think it's great that we can give a $100 gift card from Bennett. So Tim, I appreciate that. I really do. And I wish you the best of luck, but don't go off what I say, please. I don't want to feel guilty on that.
So I just got a call. Jimmy Goldstein was at the opener at Golden One Center.
Was he really? You mean this year or when this arena opened?
When the arena opened.
Oh, yeah. I know he was. Yes. He's been to Sacramento many times. All right, don't forget, Kings and Thunder tonight. No Sabonis. We'll see how they do. We're going to be talking about it. The postgame show. Can't wait for that on our YouTube channel. If you don't like that, Jerry Reynolds, Rhino in Sacktown, myself, at about anywhere between 9:15 and 9:30. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks for your support. Stay safe. Grant Napear is saying so long, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.